Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly dungeon muser today. I guess I'll be your friendly, EIC today, because today we are going to be returning to a channel favorite lately. It's Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. And we're going to be using their relatively recently released Superpowers Companion to tell yet another savage tale with some marvelous heroes. And with me today are the stars of today's session. I'm calling today's session Rescue, and the reason for that will be evident in a short period of time. I will apologize for those who normally join us. Roll20 has done something with our cameras once again, so our cameras are now a little askew, so I do apologize for not having direct line of sight to you, but we're all going to live with it. Let me introduce you to the stars of today's session. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up is John.
Everyone, I am John, and I'm playing Blade, the half vampire, half human vampire hunter, Daywaka.
Very nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to be playing the Punisher, and I'm not sure if Kev knew this when he picked these characters, but when I was a kid, the Punisher was probably my favorite hero. Did you know this?
I did know that, yeah. When we were talking, I can't remember what we were talking about. Oh, nice.
There you go.
First
I got the first appearance, I got the second appearance,
nice.
I got the third appearance.
That's awesome.
There you go. There's all my old Punishers.
I may have been aware of that. Well, I can't remember what game we were playing when you mentioned that you had collected a shit ton of Punisher stuff, and I'm like, all right, that's no question as to who I'm making for you. And then last but certainly not least is Will.
Hi, I'm Will, and I will be playing Mark Spector, Moon Knight.
Nice. And he's dressed for the occasion too.
Yeah,
Inadvertently.
represent.
I love it. All right, guys. So one of the things I was thinking of is how to structure this, just a one shot to kind of bang around the system, get you guys to get a sense of what superheroes are like. Jeffrey and Will have not played Savage Worlds Supers yet, so because we couldn't play our regular G.I. Joe game today, I thought this would be a good opportunity to introduce them to it. So, but what I did think of is, do you guys remember back in the halcyon days of us picking up comic books, when you would go to the spinner rack and they would have part 2 or part 3 of a story, and that would be the only copy you owned for years and years and years, so you never really knew what happened before, what happened afterwards. It was just what happened that issue. That's the way we're going to approach this, as if we're opening up that first page of part 2 or part 3 of an ongoing story in Moon Knight. Our last issue ended with a crossover reveal of maybe 2 issues ago is where we revealed that Blade is guest starring in this arc. And then last session, we did a guest star of the Punisher, reveal of the Punisher hanging outside where the other heroes were investigating. I
love those last panel reveals, by the way.
Exactly. So then we are opening up, and I think that if we... well, the other thing I wanted to mention is a tradition from 80s Marvel that was, I believe, set in place by editor-in-chief Jim Shooter, a controversial character in comics, but I actually got to meet Shooter a couple of years, like just before the pandemic, at a con, and because of a slow period, I got to fucking chat with this guy for like almost an hour. And it was awesome. But one of the things he introduced in it is a mandate that every issue of Marvel Comics had to have. Do you remember the yellow narrator stuff with the big splash page that's recapping? His theory was every Marvel comic could be somebody's first comic. So they need to be able to pick it up and get right in right away. And that's sort of what we're going to do, is we're going to use some mechanics in Savage Worlds to flesh out what's happened thus far, bring the players up to speed, bring the viewers up to speed for the issues they've missed, and honor the legacy of the controversial character Jim Shooter. So I think as a bit of a recap, let's start off with a notice check from Blade, please.
Absolutely.
Let me grab your tokens here, guys.
Should I add any of my super senses to it?
Yes, you do. Yeah, +2 from the things. Look at that. All right. Now, as a reminder for those who haven't played Savage Worlds in a while, target number, unless it is contested, is going to always be a 4. There will be modifiers to your roll, but the 4 is what you're going for. If you roll 4 higher than whatever your target number is, whether it's contested or not, then you get a raise. And sometimes the number of raises matter, like doing damage to people. An 18 against a 4 is a very good roll. So I think what, here, let me tell you what has brought all of our heroes together. So over the past 3 months, on the full moon, there have been people who have been going missing across New York City. And I think perhaps I'll bring us over to some nighttime New York City. Boom, here we go. Now put your characters back down again. Oop. Someone forgot to move the thing to the map layer. I don't know who that would be, but here we go. What has been, I think what brought Moon Knight into this is you read an article in the Daily Bugle written with the byline of Ben Urich, who was writing about a series of unusual disappearances on the full moon. At different parts, seemingly unconnected people have gone missing. And the curious thing that about it is not only that they went missing, there is, while there is signs of violence at the scene of their disappearances, the signs of violence seem to be only property related and seem to be to leave wherever it was, the apartment, the condo, the townhouse, the freestanding house, wherever the person disappeared from. The violence was as if someone was bashing or smashing their way out from inside the residence. Otherwise, there was no other connection. And I think that what piqued your interest is, of course, the unusual nature of the disappearances and, of course, the interplay of the full moon. If someone is making ill use of the gaze of Khonshu, then that does seem to be something that needs to be dealt with. Blade, your involvement came from from outside of town, actually. This was a Greyhound that was on the way to New Jersey. There was a pretty horrific incident on there where seemingly something slaughtered an entire Greyhound bus full of people. And the reason it drew your attention is there's claws, there's biting, there's whatever, right? There's definitely the scene of something unnatural. And when you managed to sneak your way in and investigate the scene, you found there was a very pungent stink of something unnatural. The only person whose body was unidentified or whose remains were unidentified on that bus came from New York City. So that led you back to New York City to investigate what has gone on with this person and who they were. That person's name was Julian Santiago. For Punisher, there is a vet who does outreach service with a guy named Benjamin Gladstone. Gladstone did outreach services with other homeless vets, not only from the Vietnam era, but from more recent wars as well. A regular fixture on the scene. He seems to have gone missing as well. And I think that if this isn't someone that you've met in the present, it may have been someone that you've served with or some other, seemingly Frank Castle has an inexhaustible supply of, Vietnam vets that he served with at some point who could then have things happen to them. So this is just one more of those. And what you've been investigating this, and then it seems that this is looped up in this similar disappearance. So where our scene opens is you guys can picture that Blade and Moon Knight are on the roof outside of this brownstone on one of the outer line boroughs. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to really, I'm not familiar enough with New York City to be able to tell you where in the city is. So this is going to be the lazy TV version of like somewhere else. You don't know where it is. So actual New York residents and George, I do apologize for the ham-fisted use of New York in this, but it'll be one of the more, it's that scene we see in like a zillion Law and Order episodes where it's brownstones that seem to have like maybe 2 or 3 stories to them. There's residential parking, but you can definitely tell it's still part of the city. You two were on your roof, and what you're rolling for, Blade, is what you notice at the end of the last issue. Is that one of those vans is, you can hear, for one, the van's suspension is struggling against the weight of things being transported in it. And there's the smell of a lot of gunpowder in that thing. Someone is carrying a shit ton of guns in that van. And that is where we left our heroes off, is with Punisher's van parked out near where the most recent disappearance from 2 nights ago was a woman named Fiona Montaigne. She is a social worker. She is a widow. She has no other, she's in her 50s, no other surviving family members who live with her. Identical circumstances for disappearance. The signs of violence. The police are still relatively, recently into investigating this, but it seems like this is going to go on the unsolved pile pretty quickly. So Blade and Moon Knight, you have come here to investigate this stuff, and this is where you find Punisher in the course of his investigation as well. What I'm thinking is we do our little meet and greet between the characters. You could assume that probably you've met one another, at some point. I was thinking this morning when I was doing the math on the time, like, all these characters are like at least 40, in some cases 50 years old. It's Blade's 50th anniversary first appearance this year. So wow. There's a huge history of actual continuity between these characters. We can pick and choose whatever the fuck we want. Let's assume that everyone at some point has met one another, even if you don't get along. So you've seen Punisher out there. What we're going to do after that, you do your little meet and greet to get yourselves comfortable with role playing, is we're going to do a flashback to show what investigations you guys have done thus far. And this will be an opportunity for you guys to make use of the networking rules in Savage Worlds to do some investigation and see how much you've learned over the course of the 2 issues we missed. Okay? So, Blade, you are the one you can picture. You're on the roof, nighttime, you're looking down, that, nondescript van with, Acme, plumbing on the side, has rolled up, all blacked out windows. You are certain that, I think within 18, I think you recognize Frank Castle's scent even.
I think he'll like do the breathe in for a moment and look over to Moon Knight and says, I only know of one person that reeks of tobacco, gunpowder, and pain. The Punisher's here.
Same thing we are.
What was that, Will? So we lost the first part of it.
Oh, I said I wonder what he's after. Maybe the same thing we are.
What do we know about the woman that's missing? Social worker.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? Moon Knight and Blade, why don't you give us stealth checks, and Punisher, give us a notice check. Okay.
I don't think I'm trying to hide much now.
11 from Moon Knight, okay. And then Punisher, give us your notice. All right, so unless you're spending a Benny to re-roll or you're spending conviction, what you notice is there's someone, when you pull up, you can picture you've got here, Jeff, and you can see up ahead, on the left side, there's the police taped off entrance into that brownstone. No lights are on inside whatsoever. You're about half a block back, enough to see, a view of it. And you can see, maybe silhouetted by the moon, there's someone standing on the roof looking down, and you're pretty certain with it, because you would have gotten a raise on that. There are the hafts of 2 blades sticking up from the back of his form. Someone's got 2 swords attached to his back.
Yeah.
It's not Deadpool.
So probably what I imagine the Punisher doing is like rolling down his window, his tinted window, and
Yep.
sort of leaning out with his big arm and pointing at them and like doing the like finger wiggle, like, you guys come here. I'm not climbing up there.
So
You see a snarl on Blade's lips.
yeah,
And not to be
Blade,
summoned like a dog.
you've got low light vision as well because you're damn pure nature. So you can see that you've been spotted.
Look over to Moon Knight, who's like almost invisible in the moonlight, and head down and make his way to the emergency escape on the side of the building.
Oh yeah, Moon Knight just glides down there because he's cool like that.
Show off.
Definitely.
Moon Knight just steps off to the edge and just billows that cape out and poof.
Nice. All right. So with you guys landing and meeting up, let's talk about what investigations you guys have done thus far. So I've given you the basics of what your characters have done. One of the things you can do in Savage Worlds is use a minigame called networking. Networking basically boils down to you're going to make either a persuasion or an intimidation roll to try and gather information. You tell me what kind of, like, what you're looking for, how you're doing it. We make the roll and then we narrate out sort of what happened. And if you roll a fumble or a critical fail, then there might be bad things happen. And the way we will deal with that, we're not going to like run a combat encounter. There's a neat set of rules called quick encounters in this, where we narrate out the scene, we boil it down to one dice roll, and then if you got knocked around in a previous encounter or something like that, we'll impose damage or perhaps fatigue on your character. But it allows us to have kind of those, if there were action scenes we missed, to have consequences from them without having to break out and do the whole thing. So networking also is, the thing with Savage Worlds in general is that it's extremely flexible. So if you've got a different way of approaching this stuff, if any of you had hacking, for instance, you could potentially use that to try and track down some things. But what are you guys thinking? This is our opportunity for you to do a little bit of investigation, and knowing that you've got a editor who is supervising this comic, and you've got a writer who is cognizant of telling a good story, you don't need to worry about overlapping. So we can say, like, one person can go and learn some information, and then we can structure someone else's networking to fill out other stuff that you want to know as a group. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So who is up first then?
Oh,
Who's going to tell us about... You're going to go first?
I've already got an idea.
Nice. Okay. What are you thinking?
So Moon Knight, in his alter ego of Jake Lockley, cab driver, has been, had his ears to the street. He's been driving around. He's been talking to people and hearing about stuff. That's what he's doing investigation-wise.
Okay.
He's talking to people. He's maybe in some of these areas where these abductions have happened, maybe neighbors, people like that. He's driven them around. He's talked to them. He's listened to what they have to say. So that's kind of what he's thinking about investigation-wise. Is that sufficient?
Yep, that sounds perfect. Now, hold on. I'm just getting double checking here. Actually, why don't you click on your investigator edge?
Right there. Bang.
Let's see here. Awesome. +2 to notice and sift. I'm actually going to give you a +2 on this as well, because I think I fit. So that sounds like a persuasion, not intimidate. You're not threatening neighbors or anything like that.
No.
So why don't you give us a persuasion roll, and when it prompts for a modifier, just add a 2. Remember, don't add a plus sign in it, or the world implodes in Roll20.
Yes. Submit. Ugh.
Nice. No, it's a success. A 4 is all you're looking
I know,
for.
but still, that wild die.
Yeah. So here's what you can do is you guys will be getting I'm going to give you a Benny every half hour. You got 3 right now. You can spend a Benny to re-roll that if you'd like. And in Savage Worlds, you always take the better of the 2 unless you roll 2 1s. You're satisfied with that, or you want to try again?
No, we'll try again. We'll see if I can get that.
Shooting for a raise.
Yeah, I'm looking for that raise. That's what I'm after.
Okay. Especially with a +2 to that, yeah. There you go. All right. So you got a raise on it. So what? Here's what you find is, having talked to everyone, you for one thing, you find that it's sort of like the benefit of having an absence. There's there seems to be no connection between any of the people who have disappeared. What the extent of, at least in their normal lives. One of them is, like one's a stockbroker. One of them works as like, it's a manager of a grocery store. One of them works as like a freelance musician. They seem to come from all walks of life, but it's a curious comment for one of them when they mentioned that, they were happy to be rid of the dog that they got because it bit them anyway. And you were like, wait, what? And asking them a little further, you found out that they had just adopted a dog from a rescue shelter. And the dog apparently bit them, and bad enough that they needed to get some medical attention. But they were convinced that it was an outlier, something, they did something to prompt this stuff. That was enough for you to follow up with someone else, and you found that someone else had also adopted a dog relatively recently. And if you follow that chain down with 2 raises, does seem that every single person, if you comment about that, they say, oh yeah, we weren't sure what happened to the dog, or maybe it ran away, or whatever. So that seems to be the common thread that you found thus far, is that every one of the people that you have encountered have been apparently dog lovers. At least one of them was bit quite badly by, or bit by the dog, not quite badly, they weren't mauled or anything.
Right.
But bad enough that they needed medical attention, and they seem to all have adopted from a shelter. So that's what you uncovered as Jake Lockley. Blade or the Punisher, do you guys have any thoughts as to how you've been investigating this?
I have an idea, but what about Jeff? Do you want to go?
Sure. I think that, the Punisher is going to be doing his usual thing. This veteran's gone missing, and as usual, he would be shaking down the mobsters and criminals in the city. So he would be using intimidation and probably maybe hitting some of the regulars, some of the people he likes to bully for information.
Sure. Okay.
And I also picture that in this issue of the comic, it's got that little box at the bottom that would say, like, as seen in Punisher number whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. All right. So go ahead and give us a intimidation check, please.
Here we go.
And your menacing is already calculated into there.
Oh, well, I'm using my Benny, too.
Yeah, go right ahead. 3 minutes, you'll be getting another one.
Yeah.
Nice, with a
better.
raise. All right, so here's what you find is you are fairly confident that the underworld had absolutely nothing to do with this stuff at all.
Yeah. Okay.
The Ben's disappearance, they did not seem to play any role in that stuff whatsoever. But curiously, you find out that it's like a wife of some, sub-capo. She has gone missing. It hasn't been raised or anything like that. And things are a bit on a tense footing with with rival families right now, because she's gone missing. No one knows why. But they're, it's not just the long and the short of it is that someone else has got bigger fish to fry than taking care of some kind of what do you call it? Some kind of guy who helps out homeless folks.
Right.
The timing of it as well. That's the thing that your raise gives you, is her disappearance was a month and a half ago. So like a month and 2 days ago.
Right. Not recent, but quite a while ago.
Exactly. So that's how things have been in the last little bit. And finally, Blade, what are you thinking?
Well, something along the same lines as the Punisher, but he's going to hit the supernatural side of the things.
Okay.
He's going to hunt down the ghouls and the familiars that he can scent out and intimidate the hell out of them, because they have their ear to the ground where the vampires won't.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay. So go ahead and give us an intimidation roll. And I think your menacing is already included in there as well.
Oh
no!
Can't re-roll that. Can't re-roll that.
All right.
Oh my
So here's a great
goodness.
thing. Depending on what approach you use, persuasion or intimidate, they have different outcomes when you have a critical failure. So this, what we can picture is you showed up, at like a nightclub or something like that, to try and shake down the ghouls, and things got real fucking angry. So what we need to do is
maybe I actually ran across the ghoul's master, and then I just couldn't help but.
I think they also know
up.
who you are, Daywalker. Yeah. So they things kicked off. So what we need to do is just if you really want to see the amazing fight, and let me assure you, it was a fucking crazy fight. Again, there's that little asterisk, and it's a reference to the issue of Blade that you didn't pick up at the spinner rack.
So I imagine when we're meeting Frank Castle, the alleyway, Blade has a recently healed bruise on his face.
Well, that's what we're going to check on here is because you're going to be suffering from bumps and bruises. It's a rule from the hazards. I'm just trying to find what page it's on. Let me go.
This is great.
Awesome. 125.
I've not hated the dual one results in this game so far. They're just so great.
Oh, they're always they always feel like there's an interesting and fun result from them. Okay, so then except for when your character's torn apart by werewolves.
That's fine.
Okay, so what we need from you is an athletics check, please. Let me see if you take a modifier. You don't. So just give us a flat athletics check. Let's see how things went. Okay, so you're good. So there was a vicious fight between yourselves and them, but you didn't walk away with any lasting impact or injuries, and unfortunately, you didn't walk away with any information either.
Fortunately.
I think that might have been when you came across Moon Knight, and then now you guys have all come back together. So we can picture that you guys are sharing information. Maybe Frank pulls into an alleyway so that the great big white guy or white caped guy isn't as conspicuous as somehow he's amazing at stealth, but he's dressed in all white sheets. So what do you guys have brought one another up to speed. Blade knows that he got in a scrap with some others. Everyone gets a Benny, by the way. Go ahead and add 1 to your green bar. What do you guys want to do now? Remember, you are at the scene of Fiona Montaigne, the most recent disappearance.
Could I spend a Benny, like if I made a raise on my athletics check, could I have gotten some information from it?
If you'd gotten a raise on your athletics, probably not. No, that... Okay. Why don't you spend a Benny and re-roll if you want.
Yeah, like everybody else spent one, I want to spend one.
Sure.
I'm left out. I didn't get to spend a Benny.
No, okay.
It wasn't worth it.
Unfortunately, many of them ended up on the end of your swords, your silver infused swords, so they did not do a lot of talking afterwards.
Darn.
But we see her, so you're in the alleyway. It does seem like you're all following the same kind of thing. Assume that you shared information with one another. What do you guys do next?
Blades says there's obviously something supernatural that happened in the Greyhound. Claws and fangs and mutilations.
Clearly. And I'm certain the underworld's not involved, so this seems to be more from your guys' realm.
Well, explosives and guns tend to work on them fairly well.
Let's see here.
Could investigate the apartment. I mean, surely the police missed something.
They always do.
NYPD. So let's do that. Let's head to that apartment and see if we can get in there and do some investigation.
Okay. So why don't you each give us a let's do it this way as a group thing. Talk about support roles. So support roles in this are very much like Aid Another in Pathfinder 2 or something like that. One person is going to take the lead on stealth, and then 2 others will support that. They just make a roll. Again, target number is always 4. If they succeed, it's a +1 to the lead's roll. If they get a raise, +2 to the lead's roll. If you get a critical fail, it's -2, I believe, to the lead's roll. But go ahead. No consequence for failure. Who wants to take the lead on this?
Probably me. I don't know, Blade.
Yeah.
What's your stealth?
A D8.
Yeah, I'm a D10.
Yeah.
I think
So
Moon Knight
we'll
also
aid
has a
you.
skill bonus that grants +1 to the result. So it's not just that whatever your higher dice is, you get a +1 to that on top of everything else.
So yeah, let's just do.
So why don't Punisher and Blade give us a stealth check?
I think
Success +1.
Blade will be like keeping an eye out kind of version of helping.
Nice. With a raise. So that's +3. So Moon Knight, go ahead and give us a stealth check at +3.
And the number 3. Oh,
Nice.
Not bad.
Okay, success with the raise. All right, so then more often than not, like unless it's a combat thing, raises you either have one or don't.
Right.
A raise in combat allows you to add a wild dice to the damage. So similar to extra raises don't do anything beyond that, except for when you're rolling damage. That's when it matters. So narrate for us, guys. What does it look like as you, the three of you, sneak your way into this 3-story brownstone?
I think Blade is going to go into the front door, kind of playing like diversion and making his way slowly upstairs, just make sure everybody's out of the way while, I don't know, Moon Knight comes in from the back window.
Okay.
Yeah, Moon Knight's definitely probably uses his grapple gun and uses that to pull him up to that window there and just slowly eases it up and slides in.
Okay. And Punisher?
He probably follows Blade because he can't really. I don't think he has the gear to do the same thing that Moon Knight did.
Okay.
Blade cracking a joke and knees bothering you, old man.
Old man.
Wanna take the
Blade was
elevator?
born in 1929.
Just slowly.
Yeah. That's
So-
probably what I'd say. Something, who's old here?
So why don't you guys each give us a notice check, please? That's something where any one of you could succeed in this, not a joint
Super
effort.
senses kick in too.
Yes, they would. Yep, you're right. It's raised from...
Oh.
Okay. So Moon Knight, unless anyone wants to spend bennies, you know that one... this is an element of, of them, because it's a meta currency, you can choose, like, all right, we know someone in the group made a success. You don't need to, like, role play to then spend a meta currency. So... someone got a raise out of this, and you know that you two got, Blade and Punisher got successes. So you guys are looking through here, but Moon Knight, I think you're up on the top level. Too many goddamn dungeons I play. So as you're making your way in, what you can hear, Moon Knight, is somewhere on this top floor, there's someone moving around. And from the sounds of things, it's only one person. They're pretty light. And you can hear them like rustling through drawers. Like you can hear them being pulled out and things being thrown on the ground. You can hear light things falling down. What do you do?
So we'll talk about this. So I assume my mind's eye sees a darkened room.
Definitely.
Is what my mind's eye sees. Do I see kind of that sometimes that flashlight beam or
I think there might be, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Moon Knight's going to slowly move towards that direction.
Okay. Give us a stealth check. Let's see how well. And I'm going to roll for this character. Now, one of the things that's neat is with Savage Worlds, there's two different kinds. As a reminder for those who haven't played in a while, two different kinds of characters in this. There's wild cards who always get to roll a wild dice, and they take 3 wounds to be defeated. And there are extras. Extras have only 1 dice they roll, and they generally speaking, if they suffer a wound, they're taken out of a fight or whatever else. There's exceptions to that, but for the most part, holy shit. So yeah, you definitely got to raise. You make your way down to this, to the top here, and it seems like it's a bedroom. You pass a bathroom along the way. You get in there, and as you look inside, what you see is there is a young African-American woman who is rooting around through things. She looks like she is wearing, from the poor fit of them, it looks like clothing that she has either scavenged or grabbed in a hurry. And you can hear her muttering to herself, "Where is it? Where is it?" It's got to be in here somewhere. The sound of her voice suggests a bit of desperation.
Okay. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of how I could do a really good intimidation here. What would be appropriate? Well, okay. Well, that'll scare the bejesus out of her. Yeah, okay. So I'm at the doorway, right?
Yeah, you're at the doorway. She's in this room. It's a bedroom. It's got a big, great big bed in it. She's rooting around through stuff. Incidentally, the woman is in her about mid-50s as well, too. Sorry, I may have said young.
I hope I don't give her a heart attack, but I'm doing it anyways. So Moon Knight's going to he's going to flip on the light because he knows that'll startle her.
Yeah.
And then he's going to just have that cape, and you just see it kind of billow out.
Yeah.
Almost into two wings spreading out from him, reaching out towards her.
Okay. Why don't you give us an intimidation check at +1?
All right.
With a raise, you'll shock her into silence. With a success, she'll be intimidated. But, okay, so that is as a success, but not a raise. Do you wish to...
Yeah, I'm thinking. Let's spend a Benny and see if I can do better.
So technically, what this is going to be is a test. What a test is it's another neat mechanic in Savage Worlds, where what you're doing is you're using a skill to try and impose a condition on her. You can, on a success, you can impose either distracted, which is -2 to all her actions, or vulnerable, +2 to actions against her, and on a raise, she's shaken. So it's actually a combat condition where she's almost defeated.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to spend a Benny and reroll?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go right ahead. So remember, +1 to that.
Yep. And go.
There you go.
There you go.
I rolled a 1 for her spirit check. So you flash the light on. Punisher and Blade, you would both notice that a light has come on upstairs. And Moon Knight does exactly what you described. She turns and her eyes go wide. And she looks at you. And she's just sort of she's not vocalizing it, but you can see her lips are saying, no.
Yeah, that's right. Here I come.
What do you do?
I think the first best thing is, who are you?
She sputters and then manages to make out, you're in my house. This is my house. Would you give us a notice check, Moon Knight?
Yeah, I was fixing to say, don't even. Pull the other way.
Punisher and Blade, you can both assume with your notice rolls, you've heard him speaking to someone upstairs. And he's using creepy Khonshu voice.
Is that still success, though?
That's
right,
success.
Kevin?
Yeah, 4 is all you need.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what you do, she is looking rough in the sense of like she's dirty, her hair's kind of mussed up and whatnot, a little like matted and whatnot. But you actually see from her, there's a picture of a couple. And it's an African American couple. One of them is a man who you don't recognize. The other one is for sure this woman. Yeah, so Blade, you can get yourself easily up there. I mean, with your athletics, you can also, and your speed, you could do a up the, acrobatic thing up the stairwell if you want. You don't need to make a roll for that. Punisher, what about you? What are you doing?
He would just slowly make his way up there.
Okay, so you're stalking your way up there.
Yeah.
So Moon Knight, you've noticed that, and she seems to answer, this is my house.
All right, so I'm going to take just one step forward and be like, what are you looking for?
She sputters, my passport and money.
What happened to you?
Are you with them?
Them who?
She staggers back and kind of hits the drawer as if something like had. She's propelled back as if a pain hit her, and your thought of like, oh god, the heart attack. That happens. Punisher, you're on the second floor, stalking your way up, and you get there, and I'm picturing there's a window leading out in front street. What you see is two vans pull up out front.
Oh.
They are, classic goon van type things, white, panel vans, no markings on them whatsoever. Blade, you're up there, and you can see this woman staggers, back. Would you give us a notice check? It's gonna be a flat notice check because I would impose a -2, but you're gonna get +2 from your enhanced senses. Yeah, her heart rate is just jacked right now.
Okay. So
let's do this. Let's drop into combat rounds. So just to give some structure here. So here's the way, as a reminder, here's the way it works in Savage Worlds. Now, Punisher has level-headed and quick. I can't remember, does Blade or Moon Knight have either quick or level-headed as edges?
No, I do not.
Okay, awesome. So that means there's no other modifiers for this. Let me give you cards. I'll go the order I got you guys in here. King Conan, nice. All right, Punisher, you're going to get 2, and I redraw any 5s. An ace, pretty good. And then Moon Knight, let's see here, a 9. All right. Whoever is outside is going to get a queen, and for the lady, let's see here, she gets a 5. All right. So the way the order works is we go highest to lowest, reverse alphabetical order for the suits. If you don't have an edge that modifies your cards or whatnot, you can spend a Benny to redraw a card and choose which one to use. So does anybody want to spend, Blade and Punisher, I think you guys are golden right now. Moon Knight, are you satisfied with your 9, or do you want to spend a Benny to get a new card?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if I can do a little bit better.
Okay, let's see here. Here we go. It's a queen. Queen of diamonds. All right, so the first up then would be Punisher.
I think that Punisher yells, "Guys, we got company," and he'll start moving back down to where the front door is to the apartment.
You got it. All right, so then do you want to ready anything as well?
Yeah, he's probably pulling out, let's see, what kind of... He probably has like something big, like his M16 on his back or something.
Okay. That does feel very Punisher.
So he's not very subtle when he's moving inside a building.
No. Well, there could have been trouble up here.
Yeah. Okay, so you've gone, next up is Blade. What are you doing?
So are we like in a stairwell going up? Is that what it is?
I'm picturing you're right at the top, and you've seen this. You can see the woman. You're close enough. There's probably like an open stairwell in the center of this place that leads, all the way down. So if you need to jump down, you could probably do that.
So the woman's heart rate, is it like unnaturally fast, or is it just like scared fast?
It's not a... Ooh, good question. Do you have training in heal?
Let's see, heal. I do not.
Do not? Okay, so why don't you give us a notice check at -1. Let's see if your senses won't play into this. I'm just going to see if you recognize what this would be. Awesome. That's with a raise. It's definitely not a heart attack. It's not that like there's something else going on here. You can actually give us a free occult roll.
Yes, okay.
Because I know you're quite good at that.
I was wondering if it was unnatural or something, so...
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that precedes a change.
Okay.
If any of you are putting dots together over canines, a full moon, and people going missing on it, your characters can feel free to make that connection too. Blade, this woman seems about to transform into something very dangerous.
Okay, so what he'll do is he'll throw his trench coat open and pull out his shotgun, and then move to go kick in the front door to get to Moon Knight's side.
So I'm assuming that Moon Knight left the door to the bedroom open.
Okay.
I didn't hear him say. So you can picture you're there. Then it is okay. So diamonds come before clubs. So Moon Knight, you're up next. What are you doing?
That's a good question. What about, can you hold an action?
Yeah. You can hold. You wait until afterwards, and then what you do is you roll a contested athletics check to try and act before if you want to interrupt.
Yeah. I want to hold and see what's fixing to happen with her.
Okay. So then it will not take long for you to see. what is about to happen with this woman. So let me go to here. And where is it?
This is a great setup for a fight.
Thank you. So this is on her round. What you see is this woman begins shifting and snarling and transforming into an enormous werewolf.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to metagame anything, but since Blade fights vampires all the time, I'm pretty sure a shotgun is infused with like silver pellets, right?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Incidentally, first appearance by Moon Knight.
Yep.
Werewolf by Night.
Yep.
All right, so this woman transforms into that. Did you want to try and interrupt that whatsoever, or are you going to act afterwards? That seems to be the entirety of her action.
Yeah, I think I'm going to act afterwards. I think now that I know what's going on.
Okay. So yeah, she has where this woman was, and you see the clothes that she has borrowed. It seems to you understand why they've, why she recovered those, because they are now torn and whatnot. And incidentally, the reason that she's transformed, I made a spirits check for her to resist your kind of intimidation. I rolled a 1, so she critically failed on this, and that's why she's now a werewolf. Then Moon Knight, what would you like to do?
So yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think at this point he's just going to straight out attack her. He pulls out his baton.
Okay.
And he's going to attack her with that.
Go right ahead. So you can move. You're definitely within a pace of your, what do you call it? Of your pace. Sorry, within range of your pace. So you can stride on up there without having to run. The reason that matters is because if you run, you roll a d6 and then you add that to your total, and then you get a -2 to your actions that round.
Okay.
But you're not suffering that, so go ahead. If you're using that, you can use your frenzy. So go ahead and give us 2 attacks with your baton, and we're going to use the skill dice from the second one as your frenzy, your second dice.
Okay.
And we're going against the parry of the defender. So let me find out what that is.
And then do a reroll, right?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, hit reroll, and then we take the best of one of your 2 skill dice, or your 2 skill dice and your wild dice. You can apply 2 of those to the attack. Now, she, it may not seem like it, but she actually has she's a pretty impressive combatant. Only one of those is a hit, and not a raise. So, would you like to? You could spend a Benny and re-roll those, or you can just take those and roll damage.
Yeah, I'm going to take it for right now.
Okay.
And roll damage.
So you're going to roll damage. So go ahead and roll damage on the baton. And holy smokes! Look at that! Wowzers! All right. So what we do now is we compare that to her toughness. Now that is my bennies. God dang! I forgot to get my bennies.
Where the bennies at?
I love this game.
Come on.
I'm having fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Savage Worlds is fun, but I've not had the best experiences with it in the past.
No, that's why I really wanted to give you a superhero try here.
I really like the superhero version of this game.
I think it suits it in all the different senses really well. So let's see here. That's 1, 2, 3. So you would be inflicting 3 wounds on this werewolf with your thing. So you smash this thing across the jaw. And you can see it shatters her jaw, and this would drop anyone. What I could do is I could spend a Benny and roll a soak. I make a vigor check, every success, and raise. I reduce the wounds by 1. I'm going to let all this happen because your baton is not silver.
Yeah.
So she hits her. She is shaken, which means that if she's going to take an action next time, she needs to make a successful spirit check before she can act. But you can already see with that huge hit, that should have taken anything down. You could have taken down a charging bull with that hit. But she begins picking herself up from the bed once again and is going to try and maybe do something nasty to you. On the thug's turn, the thug panel van opens up, and what spills out is a bunch of, let me see here.
A bunch of puppies.
Bunch of nameless guys. Now, I would I would use a map for this guy. I do actually have some scale maps, but they're daylight, and they're not of New York City. They're once again a Calgary. So I have yet to do it, but
in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. It's like The Last of Us. Everything is doubling. Calgary's doubling as everything nowadays. All right, so here we go. There are, between the two vans, there are 12 guys who come out. All of them seem to be wearing like the kind of like like the navy blue overalls you'd see of anyone working in like a factory or a warehouse or something like that. They all have vests on though that seem to have some kind of marking on them, although you can't see them just yet. So they have come out. They're not aware. Punisher, you're at the door. They're outside. Let's see what happens next round. So, draw cards here. Blade, you're gonna be up on a 9. Punisher, we get 2 for you. Jack, or a 4, but you get to redraw the 4, get to redraw the 5, get to redraw the 3.
I'm killing all these bad cards.
There you go.
Pair of jacks.
Okay,
Nice.
and then Moon Knight, a 2. Ugh. The Werewolf gets a 5, and the Thugs on an 8. So, anyone want to spend bennies to get a new card?
No, I'm going to hold on to my last one because I may need a soak here in a second.
Okay. Then first up, I'm not spending any bennies from the baddies to do that. First up is Punisher. What are you doing?
Punisher moves out. I'm assuming there's an elevator in this building.
This is a townhouse, so it's all one house.
Oh, it's all one place.
You picture you've gone down to the front door, so you're at the front door if you want.
Oh, I'm at the front door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick the front door open so I can see what they're like, what they're doing.
Yep. So you kick the front door open and you see all of these guys out there.
And, are they armed? Did you say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He'll just. He won't even ask questions. He'll just start firing.
Okay. Now, a couple options you have. You could do your double shot where you're just doing a single shot with something, +1 to hit, I think +1 to damage. You can click on your double shot edge if you want to see what that does, because I'm going off of memory here. Or you can do, with a rate of fire, as long as you don't move, you can fire 3 shots. So here you go. Double shot +1 to hit. And oh, there you go. But if it's capable of 3-round burst, +2 to hit, and no bonus to damage. I was thinking there was damage. So that's what you could do if you want to target 1, or you can do rate of fire 3. You're going to roll your attack 3 times, and you'll count the first wild dice as well, and then you can apply those to whatever guys you like.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do this double shot one here.
Okay.
Okay, so
click on your M16.
There we go.
No mod. And then if you're doing the double tap, it'll be +2 to hit. So add a 2.
Put 2 in the modifier.
Yep. And
the number of skill dice is.
Does this ask you how many number of skill dice?
Yeah, 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, 1.
Oh, sorry. Okay, 1.
That's awesome that it does that.
Whoa!
Holy shit! So as I said,
Even
only
for the
1
gas
raise
tanks?
counts in this. For range attacks, you're not targeting parry. It's just a flat 4 unless there's any other kind of modifier. These guys do not have any dodge or anything like that. So go ahead and roll damage.
There. It's on the bottom.
And we're going to add the wild dice into this as well. Okay.
Oh, holy shit.
Blah, blah.
What does it look like as you come out and it just wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, he probably just, comes blazing across their van and just almost not wild shooting, but like almost trying to pin them down and keep them away from the building.
Okay. So let me tell you another option that you could have done here. Because multi-actions, if you want to take more than 1 action in the game, you take -2 to all actions that you're doing. But what you could have done is, as a combo of your attack, your double tap would have offset the penalty you would have gotten to hit. You could also then use your rabble rouser to try and intimidate 8 of them. Do a test against them. If you beat their spirit roll, then they can become distracted or vulnerable until the end of the next round. Or if you got a raise on that, you could have made them all shaken.
Ooh,
8
maybe
of them.
let him spend a Benny and do that.
I think I'd let a Benny. This is the first time playing the characters. If you want to spend a Benny, you rolled more than well enough, so you blow one of them away. I'm going to give you a +1 on top of it. So basically, here's the way it's going to work out. You're going to take a -1 on your intimidation check, and because they're extras, I only roll one wild dice and 1 regular dice against them. Your target number is going to be a 5. So go ahead and make an
-1 in the modifier?
-1 is the modifier, yeah.
Yeah.
And this will apply against 8 of them.
Yes.
Okay. So a 5 is a success, not a raise. Do you want to spend a Benny and try and re-roll? Or are you going to...
What do I take, the second roll or the better of the two?
The better of the two.
Then I'll spend the Benny.
Okay. If you can get a 9 or better on this, you will shake.
Yeah, because it's a big difference to the effects. So.
Definitely, yeah. Let's see here. There you go.
Yes.
Bam.
So it's just from your description, that seems all right. So then I'm going to put snails on a bunch of these. 8 of them are all scrambling, like they're just completely shocked, and they're going to have to make spirit checks in order to act next round because
that is such a Frank Castle thing to do. Just kick open the door, blah blah blah.
Well, they were expecting
behind the
Punisher
cars.
Here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's all the MCU TV shows. That's all I could see in my mind, and I could just see John Bernthal just coming out and being like, "Papa," and then everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, everyone's running for cover. All right, and here's the great thing: is if you've shaken someone, unless there's any other kind of modifier, as soon as you inflict another point of damage on them, they suffer a wound. It normally goes shaken, then wound. So with these guys, if they suffer one more shaken result, that takes them out of the fight. They'll run off or whatever. All right, so that was it for Punisher. Next up is Blade. What are you doing, Blade?
Alrighty, he's gonna dart into the room where the werewolf is and try to get past the Moon Knight and level his shotgun at the werewolf and just pow right in the chest.
Yeah, go right ahead. So give us a shooting check, or you make your attack with your shotgun.
Okay, here goes.
Similar, she's shaken already, so that is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
I want to spend a Benny, see if I can get a.
You got it. It's 9:30. Everyone gets a Benny, by the way.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And let's just re-roll.
And a reminder, you all have conviction as well, which you get from doing heroic shit. That's a sick hit with a raise. You can spend that after the roll to roll 1d6 that explodes to add that to the result of something. So it's another way of putting your thumb directly on the scale of the things. Holy smokes! So Blade zips up and this hits this thing and it slumps back on the bed. Then
you gotta use silver, Moon Knight.
Okay. Hey, you loosen the jar. So then outside, let's see here. I have 3 that don't need to unshake, and they're going to start opening fire on Frank. Now I have -5 to hit you, right?
Like there's a typical pops a card.
Your dodge is a 5,
dodge?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a 9 to hit you. None of those are good enough, so they're all firing away at you. I have 8 that need to try and recover from being shaken. Let's see how many of these are gonna... I'll use my Noble Knight dice here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So half of them are able to act this round. And what I'll do with them is... they are gonna... 3 of them are going to shoot. One of them is going to toss a stun grenade at you. So 3, none of them hit with the shot. The stun grenade does land properly. So what you get to do now is, because it's an area effect, you can try and dodge out of it. You can duck out of the way. You can
that's what I was imagining. He's going to jump back into the building or what.
So this is an agility check at -2. So go ahead and give us an agility check. Now, what you could also do, Punisher, is I mentioned before you could spend a point to try and gain combat edges. We're playing with one of the optional rules that allows you to spend a Benny, act as if you have that. I mentioned there's another one called, I think this is the one that's called Evasion. It allows you to make that roll without penalty.
Oh. And that's, I spend a Benny to do that?
You spend a Benny to do that. So you could spend a Benny and make the agility roll without the penalty, target numbers of 4, or you can make the check with the penalty, see how it goes, and you might be able to re-roll, but you cannot re-roll critical failures.
Right. Yeah. Let's spend the Benny, because I also imagine that this is not the first grenade that Frank has jumped out of the way of.
Yeah.
And this will last for the whole round, right?
This lasts for his round, not the whole combat, but for the round.
Okay.
And I imagine him jumping off the stairwell, like into some shrubs beside the front of the house.
Okay. So give us an agility check, no modifier. No problem.
Yes.
So you leap over and you got yourself, I think with the raise, why don't we say you've got some cover now too?
Yeah, nice.
So that you got yourself behind there. You had thought through this tactically. That's it for the thugs. On her turn, her body is shaking and twisting and transforming back. And you see a middle-aged woman with a hole blasted in her chest from shotgun. She seems dead.
I guess she is dead. Sorry, guys.
Then, Moon Knight, what are you doing?
Well, I don't know at this point.
You can hear the sound of gunfire and a grenade going off outside.
Okay. So yeah, let's see. Let's kind of go back the way I went, because they won't be expecting that.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go back out to the window and kind of, use the grapple gun from there and kind of swing around the building to kind of land out there in the street.
Okay. Do you have an action you want to try and take against them? I think you've got Rabble-Rouser as well, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
So here's what you could do. Being the keen Savage Worlds rule master you are, knowing that if you get a second shaken result, it generally results in a wound. What you could do is try and drive some of these guys off. At least half of them are still shaken from Punisher's initial check.
Yeah, that would be like an intimidation thing, right?
Absolutely, it's a test.
Yeah, I could see Moon Knight kind of jumping out the window, hits the grapple gun, and kind of swings around the building.
Yep.
But then he kind of disengages it, and he's got that cape, that glide in. And he just comes floating down, and the wings spread out, like Sienkiewicz would do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So that would be... this is your only action, so you're not going to suffer a penalty. Why don't you give us an intimidation check? And I'll point out, while networking uses persuasion or intimidation, you can use any skill that conceivably makes sense for tests. So if you want to try and this is how you model feinting, this is how you model, doing athletic, dodges. It's how you, taunt someone into, being, it's the Spider-Man thing of frustrating your foe to the point where they make mistakes. So go ahead and give us an intimidation check, please. Let's see how you do. Holy smokes. That was, you know what? You've got your conviction set to be rolling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It doesn't mean a conviction. You only it's a bit weird on the sheet because conviction expressly is something you only spend afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would want you. Why that be on there?
Yeah.
But you got to raise. Oh, I got to make a spirit check. My best spirit roll is a 3. That means you got to raise on this. So that is another shaken result. 4 of the guys seeing you come around, they don't even try and get back in the van. They just fucking book it down the block. Ah! And 4 more are shaken once again. They're just stunned by this. Our panel would be, the 4 of them framing a Moon Knight with his cape unfurled, coming down. All right, let's do one more round, and then we'll take our mid-session break because we started a little bit late anyway. So here we go. Blade, it's a 6 for you, Punisher. We got a 10 and a 4. Let's redraw that 4, 6. So 10 and a 6, and Moon Knight, an ace. And the bad guys, let's see here, a 9. Anyone spending bennies for new cards?
I'll spend one.
I'm good with an ace.
You got it. Blade, an ace as well. So hearts would go before clubs. Anyone else? No?
No, I'm okay with laying in the bushes.
And you're still acting before the thugs, right? So, all right. So, Blade, you're up first. What are you doing?
Okay, I am going to spend a Benny to like supercharge my speed, get it up to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then you see him, dash down the stairs in a big circle, pop out the door real quick, like vampiric speed, and he reaches back and draws his swords.
Okay.
And can I take a -2 and do a second action to try to intimidate the rest of them?
Yeah, you can.
He'll just spin him around real quick and just says, "You chose the wrong night."
Okay. So go ahead and give us an intimidation check. Now, you don't have rabble rouser, do you?
I don't know.
Okay, so we'll be targeting one guy. So that's, but hold on, let me make it's only one guy, which means I'm only rolling one dice, and I rolled a nat 1. So that is, we'll treat that as another shaken condition. Another one of these guys screams and runs off, joining his fellows. His nerve held. He's like, okay, Punisher, we're so good. Moon Knight, no, we're so good. And then as soon as Blade runs out, he's like, fuck it, we're done. And he goes racing off. And I think what you can see as he's running off, Blade, there is a sign on the back of his, that I mentioned they're wearing vests. The vests has a logo in a very unusual, in contrast to what's been going on, it's a very friendly, like pink and blue font that says "No Kill Rescue." And there's a little cartoon dog on one of the corners. Then it is Moon Knight's turn. What are you doing?
Let's see here. So I assume I'm close enough to engage in melee.
Most definitely. If you want, you can just like collapse your cloak and land down with them.
And let me see. And then I was looking for the... Okay, so multi-action. So I could do 2, basically, right?
You could do 2, and the way that stacks with your frenzy is that one of your attacks, so you make one of your actions, all of them would be at -2, but your frenzy would roll 2 skill dice, and you take the best 2 of the 2 skill dice and the wild dice from that first action, and then you just make a regular attack on the second one.
Okay. Well, maybe I just want to do the regular, because weren't you saying with frenzy I could target both on one or one on one and one on another?
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay. So go ahead and give us, what are you using? You had your baton up
before?
Baton. Okay.
Yeah, he's still got his baton out.
Okay, so go ahead and give us a, roll twice the attacks with the baton, and we'll take the skill dice from the first. I gotta double check, and there must be some way, if you can make multiple skill rolls from what do you call it? From the rate of fire, you must be able to do that somehow. Yeah. So go ahead. Roll your second one. Yeah, re-roll. We'll see how that compares. I think their parry is like a 5, if I remember. So re-roll with no modifier. Okay, there we go. All right. I believe that is 2 hits with raises. Let me see here. Let me see. All right, thug, common criminal. Parry 5, so that is a hit. One's a hit with a raise. So go ahead and roll damage for the first one. I'm assuming you're targeting ones that are not shaken. So
right.
What does it look like as you take this first one down?
I mean, the first guy, Moon Knight, he had his cape, and then he just he starts to collapse as a figure.
Yeah.
And he's got that baton, and he goes right in for the dude's kneecaps. And he just shatters his knee.
Yeah, shatters the knee. He drops down. He is out. Go ahead and roll damage for your second attack.
And then... Do I just click reroll damage?
Just click reroll damage. Yeah, it'll do it for you.
I was wondering if that would work.
Yep. And then this one, we're going to add your the bonus die in. So it's 17 against their 6. So what does it look like as this other guy goes down?
So he's taking that guy down, and then the guy beside him probably, he comes back with a backhand swing as he stands up and just clocks him upside the head. Just bam.
Yep. Boom, drops down unconscious. Punisher, you're up next.
Excuse me. How many guys are left standing?
4. Each token represents one of them.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I think he would pop up. He's probably got like his, Desert Eagle pulled out now instead of his M16.
Okay. So if he does that, then you would take a multi-action penalty.
Okay. Can he just drop the one gun?
Yeah, drop the one gun. It would still be a multi-action because like readying a weapon. There is a edge called fast draw or quick draw or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, again, you can spend a Benny and act as if you have that.
Right. No, I don't need to just for this scene.
Okay.
And I think he doesn't necessarily want to like kill any more of these guys, so he'll just probably try to wing somebody.
You can assume that when you defeat them, you can choose. Yeah, like you're defeating these characters, you can decide whether they're killed or whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. So I take a shot at -2. That's correct.
No. Well, for the multi-action penalty, you would take a -2, and then your second attack would take -4 because you got the offhand penalty on that as well.
Right, for the second attack.
Yeah. But again, you can spend a Benny and get ambidextrous, or spend a Benny and get quick draw to ignore. Quick draw would be the bigger benefit for you because you wouldn't be suffering the extra -2 from multi-action.
Right.
Or you can just roll.
What happens with a -1?
You ignore that because you take the better of the two.
Oh, right.
So that one is a hit with a raise. Go ahead and roll damage. Yeah. One of them is down. Now, second attack at -4.
Right. Okay.
That's still a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Guess that's your favorite gun, right?
Yeah, that's his gun. That's
all right. So, what does it look like as Punisher takes down the last of these two guys?
Yeah, I think he just pops up and just pops them in the shoulder or something. Something to take them out without.
All right,
killing
them. These last two guys on their turn, they did unshake. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to multi-action penalty to try and jump into the vans and drive the fuck out of here. So I'm going to make driving checks for them at -2. One of them smashes the other one. So the kind of, they both, one decided to back up, one decided to go forward. But the one that was going forward, it pushes along and it's beginning to starting to try and pull away. I lied. Let's do one more action, one more round, and see if you guys can stop them before we go. Then we'll take our mid-session break. All right, so Blade. Oh, 6. That's not great. Punisher, King, and oopsies, and a 9, and Moon Knight. See here, King again, and them. There it comes. All right. So a Joker means I get to act whenever I want, and I get +2 to the actions and damage for the round, and I get a Benny. So I am going to act. First off, is anyone spending Benny to get new cards?
No, I'm good.
No, okay.
Well, we can't beat them. So.
Unless you get a Joker, yeah. And they got the first Joker, so they would trump yours. All right, so then they're going to go first. The one who is in the vehicle, let's see here. I'm going to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, Moon Knight. He pulls out his... he will take a multi-action penalty from this, but it'll be offset by the -1, and he's going to get rock and roll and unstable penalty. Joker. Pulls out a submachine gun and just empties it at you. He's got -7 in total to hit you, so I need an 11 to hit. It sprays across the pavement. None of them hits you because of your defensive tactics. The other one is going to try and actually drive to get away here. That's a net 1. Oh, it's not good. I can't spend a Benny. He's stuck. So
you did get a Benny.
Away. What's that?
You did get a Benny with the Joker.
I did, but it's a net 1. It's a critical fail.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things with the extras is they are much more subject to this. Right. Squeals the tires and he's pulling away, clips a lamppost. So this thing is like going to be. What I'm going to rule it as is it's within a pace of you guys. So if you want to get up and get to this other vehicle, even though it's making the getaway, the one that has been like rendered immobile, he's the one shooting. The other guy has clipped this lamppost. Yeah, and he's shaken as well as a result of that. So good. No, he's not because of the +2 from his Joker. All right, then let's see here. Hearts come before clubs. So Punisher, you're up next. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try and shoot out the tires or what have you on this van that's trying to drive away.
Sounds great. I think it's just a target number of 4.
Okay.
Can you get success on that? Yep. All right, that one that's getting away, you've hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Let's see how, if you can shake this vehicle. We'll. Nice. All right. The reason I wanted to roll that is to highlight you got an ability called Deadeye. I think it's called Deadeye or Deadshot. That adds a D10 to the result. That's why the result's so good.
Right.
So what does it look? How have you rendered this thing immobile beyond just shooting the tires out?
I think. Oh. Maybe he places a couple of shots that, really not just takes the tire out, but sort of rips it off in a way that it's completely unusable. Like it's sitting on the rim. Through. Yeah, it's
at the rotator cuff and just wheel sideways.
Moon Knight, what are you doing?
Let's see. So he targeted the van. Trying to decide. I think I'll let Blade take care of the one other guy that's standing there. Moon Knight will move to the van.
So there's one van that's rendered immobile with the guy shooting at you, and then the other one tried to drive away. That Punisher just rendered immobile as well.
That's the one that tried to drive away. That's the one.
That's where you want to go to. Okay. Yep.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't realize they were both in the vans. I thought one of them didn't make it.
Okay. So what are you doing? You can get there in a pace. You can still take an action.
Yeah. He's gonna rip open the door and try and grab the guy.
That sounds good. It's contested athletics check.
Athletics, all right.
So, because of your strength is in the moonlight, is in the supernatural realm. So you're easily able to pull that thing off. And let me see here. Okay. And then, oh man, that's with a raise. I'm just making sure I'm doing this right. Grappling. Here we go. Yep, athletics. Okay, so you hit with a raise, which means he's bound and vulnerable. So you grab him and slam him to the ground. He is thoroughly in custody right now.
Bam.
Okay. I'll put him underneath you. And then finally, Blade, what are you doing?
Blade's going to dart forward and try to grab the guy through the open window around the neck and pull him out.
Yeah, that sounds good. Same thing, contested athletics.
And he's going to snarl at him with his teeth visible.
Even with the Joker bonus, it's a 4 you're rolling against.
Okay.
So that's success. That means he's bound, but not he's not vulnerable. Do you want to try spend a Benny and try and get a raise out of that?
Nah, I'll save my Benny.
Okay. So you've got him. You haven't quite pulled him out of the vehicle yet.
I think he's got a seatbelt on. I couldn't get him out.
Yeah. Okay.
I was worried you were just going to break his neck.
Oh, no.
Here, well, let's. We're 8 minutes off from getting your next Benny. We'll take our mid-session break when we get your next Benny. Let's go through here. Oh, I got to reshuffle because we drew a Joker. So shuffle that sucker. And here we go. Blade. 5. Oh, man, that's not great. Punisher, we got a 6 and a 5. Okay, so the 5 you redraw. A 2 we redraw.
I thank the Punisher for taking all these low cards for us.
Exactly.
Keeps just stacking
3 for Moon Knight, and the thugs have a 7. All right. Anyone spending bennies to affect their cards, or
no?
Yeah, I don't think so at this point.
Okay, you got it. Punisher, you're up first. What are you doing?
Punisher's going to now stroll out of the shrubs and start checking the fallen guys to see if any of them are conscious, so he can, start asking questions.
It's definitely, if you wish to, I think some of them will be conscious. They're moaning.
Yeah, maybe sort of like piling them up, like comic book style, right?
Yeah, grabbed by the arm and just
putting them in a pile.
All right. So for these guys, they can try and escape on their turn. So they need to make a. Let's see here. It's on page 90 each. So they are bound and vulnerable. So vulnerable is +2 to effects against them. And they could try and break out as a free action. It is a contested... contested athletics check, it looks like. Okay, so for Blade, the one you've got, I got a 2. It gives an athletics check.
I'm supernaturally strong.
Oh, no. I mean, he needs to beat you. So, do I? You know what? I got these bennies. I'm going to spend one to re-roll. Let's see if I can get him. Nope.
I think he reeks of garlic, which is like,
And then Moon Knight. This guy's going to try and get free of you. You got +2 on your roll. Because I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Let's see here. Holy shit. Yeah, he's going nowhere. He's fully in your control. Blade, what do you want to do? This guy's bound by you.
I'm going to just take the hilt of my sword and just whack him in the side of the head just to see if that takes the resistance out of him.
Sure. Give us a fighting check, please. Or make an attack with your sword. Let's just do that. You don't need to use the sharp side. That is a hit, not a raise. Go ahead and roll damage. You can spend a Benny and re-roll damage if you like.
Nah.
Okay. So you hit him, but this guy's tougher than he looks.
You see Blade raise an eyebrow like, I didn't expect that.
Oh, and then what you hear him say, I think, is this will be the panel before we turn over to the ad, the full page ad for the Saturday morning cartoon stuff. You're too late, Daywalker, he says. Then Moon Knight. That is not a commonly known term or name for Blade. Moon Knight, what are you doing?
Let's see here. So I've got this guy, and he's already vulnerable.
Yeah. And bound. So.
Yeah. So I think Moon Knight's going to try an intimidation check and try and find out. Let's see what Moon Knight's. He grabs him by the lapels and shakes him. He's like, "What are you doing here?"
Okay. Give us an intimidation at +2. So add 2 to your thing. It will also stack your menacing. That's we're gonna make a spirit check. Yeah, it's a success with a raise. Okay. So you turn him over, and now he's terrified, and he is going to share everything after our mid-session break.
Yeah.
So everyone get a Benny for one, and then we will come back and see what happens next. So we'll be back momentarily.
Two glasses.
All right. I am back.
This is quite fun.
Nice. Oh, thanks, Ren. I don't bother playing with any macros. I appreciate the suggestions, but I don't really care. So thank you.
Macros are a pain to set up.
Yeah, and when they go wrong, like I do appreciate the information. I'll take a look at it when the session's over and see if there's stuff we can use for it. But honestly, I really don't mind drawing the cards and setting them out. Doesn't bother me. So, okay. Next will be a dramatic test or task. Okay. How does Blade compare to Logan in the?
Well, I can tell where all of Logan's points went into his regeneration.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's his thing. I was realizing that if I do a power stunt, I could kick Blade's regeneration up to like once an hour, which would probably give him like immediate heal check once for a Benny, which is what's like in the comics or the movies. Like gets a little bit of blood and suddenly he starts healing.
It's a thing I think is really neat about Savage Worlds in general is that Savage Worlds is about genre emulation. It's not about simulation in the sense of like it models what a gun does or a laser blast or a grenade or whatever else. It models what it would do in fiction. So it doesn't, and similarly, like, yeah, for a lot of the powers, you don't need to have on the character sheet what they do because comic writers add shit in all the time and change powers and whatnot. So having that option for Benny's to be like, okay, the spotlight's on them right now. Now his healing's acting faster than it would in normal. It makes absolute sense for the fiction, which is what, again, like what Savage Worlds is trying to simulate, not And I hadn't thought about it that way. There's other reasons why I really love the Superpowers Companion as well, but I think it's such a good fit for the way I like superhero games to play out. To have enable player, creativity, allow for unexpected results and whatnot, and interesting results, but also let the characters feel like badasses.
I love the number crunchiness of certain systems, but as a non-D20 system, I love how not number crunchy it is. It's so easy just to jump in and do stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. So, and although that's not to say that the characters don't feel different from one another either, right?
They definitely do.
Yeah.
Look at the Punisher. It's great.
That's really great.
For a human, you're pretty cool.
Well, I think why don't we, to keep it interesting, it's Will's first time playing Supers. Yours as well, too, Jeff, actually, for Savage Supers. Why doesn't everyone take another Benny?
Okay.
We'll try and exhaust. You guys have been doing great role-playing, and that's the other way I would be rewarding it.
Do we have a max on Bennies?
Nope.
5. Oh, no, you don't?
I've got it on the character sheet for 5, but like that's only because I don't want you to feel that you don't have enough when you're low. But no, there's no cap on it. And remember, you guys all have conviction. The way you get conviction is by achieving sort of... So, like, defeating these guys and finding this woman, I might have given conviction for that. Or really good role-playing or whatnot, I might give conviction for that. Absent that, I'd give you a Benny.
Okay.
So...
Is there a way to hide that card deck on my end?
Like on the screen?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it really... Where is it right now?
I'll look.
The bottom right of the screen.
Yeah, but see, mine's not at the bottom right. It's kind of in the middle.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh,
it was covering up some of the stuff. So I want to say I saw a setting or something somewhere.
Maybe hit to refresh. Let's see if that gets.
Nope, I'm good.
No, you just got rid of it altogether.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, never mind. My bad.
Is it back
on my screen? It's back now. Yeah.
And is it back? Sorry, is it back in the same place as before, Will, or is it in a different place?
Yeah, it's in the same spot it was.
Oh fuck! I don't know why it'd be.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I was curious.
There's apparently a way to move this. I don't know how to do that.
I was afraid to click on it much because I didn't want to screw anything.
Yeah.
It's probably the same setting that's disabling our portraits from moving around. So
yeah. Probably.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. It's no big deal. It's just I was just like. Whatever. So
I don't know why that's. Maybe hit to reconnect, like hit refresh the browser on your end.
Okay.
Let's see if that makes a difference and if it resets it, because it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Still there. God dang.
Yeah. Join audio and video. Yeah.
There we go. Got you back.
All right. I got everybody else.
So then you guys are, where we left off for our break is you guys were all, what do you call it? You had defeated these guys. We've got one that is fully restrained by Moon Knight and about to be defeated. And Blade, it takes one more hit for you to knock this other guy out.
Oh, he'll definitely put some oomph into it at that point.
So he is unconscious now. All right. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to model. I'm assuming you guys want to interrogate these guys for, what do you call it? To try and get info out of them. Let's set this up as a dramatic task, not test. What that means is you guys, it's kind of like a skill challenge. You guys are going to be trying to get 4 successes. Hold on, there's 3 you. Let's say you're going to try and get 9 successes within 4 rounds. A success counts as 1, a raise counts as 2. You just need to get 9 over the course of this scene in order to get them to spill their beans. So this is an opportunity for you guys to role play things out and play to your strength. So who are we going to see act first on camera here? I think, persuasion, intimidation are obvious ones that make sense, but you can feel free to do other things like try and notice something or whatever. Like if Blade wanted to track their heart rate, pull a Daredevil kind of, thing, see where they're lying, you could certainly do that. So who's going to go first?
I think the first scene is like, Punisher's sort of got all these guys, how they do the scene where they're all sitting like back to back, legs out in a circle, and he sort of tied them all up, tied them into like sort of a bunch.
Yeah.
And I think he just cinches the rope sort of really tight, and he just looks at them. He says, "This isn't looking good for you guys," as he sort of cinches the rope really tight. And just that sort of intimidating Punisher, like, you're not in a good place here, just to set their minds for what's about to happen.
Yep, go right ahead and give us an intimidation roll. I'll track the number of successes on a red circle on the Thug's token.
Ooh.
Betting that?
I'm going to re-roll it. Yeah. Not much better. But...
Now remember, you can also, you've got that conviction, and you can save it, but I mean, like, the only way you earn it back...
what does it do again?
Conviction,
it adds a dice?
Roll 1d6 exclamation mark, and you add that to the result.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Start off big here.
Brutal.
That's a 7. Okay, but let me make a spirit check for them.
Oh, right, because it's contested.
It's a 5, so it's a success, but not a raise. So
it's just setting the mood.
Exactly. All right. Blade or Moon Knight? Who'd like to take an action this pass?
Got an idea there, Moon Knight?
Can also rely. You could maybe use some of your skills to try and rely on information like occult. These guys. Something's going on.
I was thinking maybe occult, or I was actually thinking using common knowledge, because I remember you were telling about what that logo was. So have I seen that before? Do I know where that is or anything like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's great. Give us a common knowledge check.
Okay.
Nice. Raise. Yeah, definitely. So what I can tell you is, for one thing, you get 3 towards your success. You guys are a third of the way there already. What you remember is there's been a ton of social media ads about this new rescue organization. Mm-hmm. Place that lets you lower rates for rescue. It's kind of like the dog rescue equivalent of those you got bad credit? Come on in, for car things. That's what this place was. And what they advertised is that there's a no-kill rescue. They take as long as they need to find a dog a home. So you just remember seeing them a lot. And there's some jingle that you've heard from them. Mm-hmm. Very popular thing in New York right now. Mm-hmm. And then Blade, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking... I'll use your idea, the notice, to see if they're lying or if they're nervous about certain words we're saying, and that sounds like a good idea.
That sounds good. Give us a note check at +2. Yep. Okay. You happy with that?
I am not. I would like to spend a Benny.
Okay.
Because his mention of Daywalker kind of clued Blade into something is really not going wrong right here. They shouldn't know who I am.
Yeah,
Damn
yeah.
it.
Okay, success, but I'm going to give you a little, so you're going to get the success for this, but you also notice something. Each of these guys, because of the Daywalker thing, you as Punisher's talking to them, they're sort of following him or as he's walking around them, and when one of them cranes his neck to the side, you can see the marking of one of the vampires. This is a ghoul, one of the creatures of the vampires. So that is our... Oh, go ahead, John.
He'll growl a little bit as an annoyance and then lean towards the guy menacingly.
Okay, he looks back, and he's just, kind of snarling back at you. Sneering, I should say, back at you. Second pass, what does everyone want to try?
I'll point out the mark on the back of his neck to the guys and says he's a patsy of a vampire.
Oh, you know what? Hold up, guys. Let's. You get cards for this because Joker might trigger here. So we go, and this tells us what order to go in as well.
There we go.
Go, Jack, and Queen. And
on fire.
Okay. So, and I'm going to draw 5 cards quickly to see if you guys would have gotten a Joker, because you could use the bennies. All right, so nothing would have come from that first one. All right, so then, anyone spending bennies for cards, or are you guys good?
No.
All right. Punisher, you're up first again. What are you doing?
So what Punisher wants to try to do this round is see if he's trying to notice, or whatever skill that would be, to try and figure out which one seems to be in charge here. He's trying to single out the person who's the boss.
Yeah, so give us a notice check.
So not necessarily that it will make big success this round, but he wants to single him out.
That definitely seems to be a big one. Yeah, you've got a real good idea of who you guys may, with luck, succeed in this in half the time necessary. So you think you've got the the highest ranked, ghoul in here.
And I think, as usual, he's probably used his Desert Eagle to tap him on the head. This one here seems to be in charge, he says to the other guys.
Moon Knight, you're up next. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm gonna go after the dude that's in charge. I'm grabbing him by the lapels, lifting him off the ground, and just kind of. I assume, this is just me filling in the visual, but I assume we're up against that van. Yep. And so he just kind of picks him up and pops him against that van. Like it's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. What is your strength is what? 1d12 plus 1?
Uh-huh.
Moonlight.
Yeah, just to give you a context, because, the old Marvel... what's the official handbook to the Marvel Universe has ruined me for strength ratings, so I always will look those up. But with plus 1, it's 1, 2, 3, half a ton you can lift. So pick up. Go ahead and give us a notice check.
Is it notice or intimidation?
Oh, sorry, intimidate. Okay. I saw notice and read it out because I'm a
no. I got you.
Robot.
I've been there, done that.
Okay, so that's a success, not a raise.
I'm going to spin a Benny and try and re-roll that.
Yeah, you got it.
Because I really want to get.
There you go. You guys are on the cusp of breaking them. Blade?
I would like to use my occultism to kind of figure out a link between a vampire ghouls and these werewolves. What the hell are they trying to pull here?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That's all you need, though. You only need 1.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So, guys, you can freely ask me whatever questions you want. You have cracked these guys open fully. What they tell you initially is, well, I guess that. But hold on, I'll let you guys lead the questions. What are you thinking? What do you ask?
Yeah. What do you guys want to know first? What do you think's most important right now?
And this can be done,
Blade.
if you think of it in the context of the fiction too, we can do this it could be a scene that panels back and forth of you asking things, or it could be a summary afterwards of like, well, they told us, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So whatever, don't feel like you need to do it in order. This could have been presented as a summary.
Blade is fixated on vampires and the supernatural, and he'll just straight up ask him, what interest do the vampires have in werewolves? Why are you trying to hide this?
Okay. He looks and he says, it's happening right under your noses.
I felt Blade would just like slap him really hard across the face and then ask him again.
And what was the question?
What do the vampires have to do with the werewolves?
Those dogs have been finally brought to heel. Sal will have his way with all of them.
Do I know that name?
You can give us an occult roll at -2.
Gotcha, yeah, because like vampires, like,
Yeah, that's a success. You know of a guy whose name is Eric LaSalle. He is a bit of a big deal in the, what do you call it, in the werewolf, or in the vampire scene. But you didn't know he was someone trying to make a play like this. Ambitious is the way you've heard about him, but like you haven't heard him as being a power player in vampire politics as of yet.
Maybe he's too much of a lip noodle to make it in vampire society, so he's going after the dogs.
There to heal. Once his pack is ready, the dogs of war will be unleashed on all his enemies, and he will run this city.
Definitely the limp noodle. Yeah. Blade will just walk away and like light up a cigarette.
Okay.
How are they doing this?
What do you mean?
How are you turning people into werewolves unless you have one?
So give us an occult roll.
Okay. Come on, give me a good one.
Yeah. What you know is that in the Marvel Universe, there's a bunch of different ways that people can become werewolves, right? Like there's natural breeding kind of, shapeshifters. There are shapeshifters from other worlds like Asgard. There are, things like that. Nature spirits, curses, alien artifacts can transform people into things. Mutants' powers can sometimes allow people to shapeshift. But good old-fashioned lycanthropy with biting someone and they become a werewolf is absolutely a thing in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So you would know if there are what Punisher shared with you before. Oh no, you remember you uncovered as Jake Lockley, the person got the bite.
Right.
Using their own methods against them. I think with your role as well, just because it's you're pretty ensconced in this. The reason that there isn't a plague of werewolves or other kind of lycanthropes I think it's only werewolves in. I really don't know. I don't know if there's like a D&D style thing. Werewolves. The reason you're not seeing a plague of werewolves in the Marvel Universe is because partly they tend to kill the things that they injure. If they're attacking, they're not doing it to spread necessarily, and also self-preservation. At a certain point, you realize that if I keep spreading this thing around, it's going to attract witch hunters and whatever else, and possibly the Sorcerer Supreme. So we need to be careful with who we're spreading this to. Vampirism also is a more, like, it spreads with a intentional kind of effect, but werewolves generally are tough enough and scary enough that they're going to probably kill whatever is there. And if they do infect someone, they're probably going to move on. But there's nothing stopping them. If they wanted to go around and bite people and bite people and bite people, you could have a wave, an epidemic of lycanthropy cutting through a city. And in a city this size and this dense, that could spread pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah. What else? What else can you think of?
There was that dog that all these people were rumored to have adopted. That maybe it came from this place.
Oh yeah, I feel that that's our next step is to go find this place and find out what's there. I think that would be probably because it's almost like there's two questions. Like one, okay, where's this LaSalle guy? But the other thing is, okay, where are y'all doing this at? And are those two the same place or not? That's kind of what I would think. Because, I mean, if I'm a master vampire, you don't shit where you eat. I'm not going to be there at the headquarters. I'm going to be at my house that's barricaded. I'm going to be in my sanctum and let the lab over here with some ghouls defend it. Yep. So I think that's the next thing we want to find out.
Blade will say that the vampiric curses pass through the blood and other bodily fluids. Maybe the werewolf is as well. And maybe they found a way for a dog to do it. Maybe some kind of transfusion, or I don't know.
It could be that, or what they say is that they have a full kennel, and these fools welcome them into their homes.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
Everyone affected joins my master's pack. It grows, and we will soon turn on everyone.
Yeah, see, they've got some sort of mind control or something going on.
Here's the thing, though.
I mean, a werewolf.
How the hell did that woman come back? There's been no other mention of anyone else returning to the scene of the crime. How the heck did she come back?
Right, how did she escape?
Well, these guys definitely came after her, so it's something they didn't expect to happen. It's a shame I blew her away.
It's all right.
But you can't reason with a werewolf. I mean...
Have you tried, Blade?
No, not really.
Blade's got a mug at his desk that says, I can't reason with a werewolf, sorry. So...
Well, where are they keeping them, or where is their headquarters? I guess we need to know.
Any one of you could check there would be on your smartphone. You can find because it's such a popular place. It's very easy to track down the no-kill rescue.
Right. Okay.
So we need to go investigate there.
For sure.
If you go there, you'll die. Our master. We have, you think, us fearsome? They'll unleash the dogs of war on you, and you will all die. They serve my master now. Blade and Moon Knight, you can give us an occult roll, and Punisher, give us an untrained roll. I don't think you're trained in occult.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, Blade,
you really doesn't like vampires, yeah.
Okay, so no, but Blade, you're going to raise on yours. Here's the thing. Werewolves travel in packs, but they don't have traditionally the kind of mind control they don't have the control minds with other things, or control people with blood the way that vampires do. So this is weird. And also, it is not typical. You've heard of vampires definitely controlling wolves and bats and other creatures of the night. I really should have lost my opportunity to do a Gary Oldman impression there, but what do you call it? The werewolves, they don't work with the vampires per se.
Right.
Blade will think for a moment and says, maybe, technology's gotten so good today. Maybe they did something to their minds or put a chip in them or something. Maybe, I can go check her head upstairs to see if there's a surgery mark, but that might have healed.
The mantle of the Fenry. Our master has found it. All of them.
That's definitely supernatural, isn't it?
You guys, this will be give us a cult at -2. You can give us an untrained at -2 as well, Punisher. These dice can always explode, so you might get a success.
Ooh.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so you've got some recollection. It's some kind of it's apparently a legend. This is a Norse thing, but you may recall the reason that Tyr in legend lost his hand is because he placed it in the Fenrir wolf's mouth while they waited until someone else put they snuck up and put a collar on him, he bit off Tyr's hand, but that's how they chained the Fenrir wolf. This artifact is supposed to be that. So if you can chain the Fenrir wolf of legend, imagine what you could do with some creative occultism and werewolves.
Maybe they were able to make a lesser version for the lesser werewolves.
Quite possibly, or the very artifact itself. You have, it's been said to see the Norse gods themselves flying over New York City's skies or streets. So if Thor exists, if Mjolnir exists, who's to say this artifact doesn't exist as well?
I love how the expanded universe is like, you don't really think of it when you're in one genre, but then you're like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite things about the Marvel Universe. DC has a big sprawling universe, but because the continuity's reset so many times, it doesn't have the same persistent texture to it. It gives you a lot of equal amount of things to draw on, but it's not quite the same the way that Marvel is. But Marvel, I fucking love that aspect of it. So many great weirdo things you can draw on.
Well, and it's so multi-tiered.
Definitely.
That's kind of what John was saying. I mean, here we are. I mean, the Punisher's just a dude, and Blade's part vampire, and I've got some divine weirdness going on. But yeah, you got Doctor Strange running around and Thor, and it's just neat. I love that multi-tiered layer of everything.
100% agree. Yeah. So, anything further you wish to ask out of this guy? You've already succeeded in this, so anything they have that they can tell you, they will.
I can't think of anything else really important right now.
I think we've kind of got the big picture here.
Yeah.
I didn't really see the werewolf, so...
Yeah, that's true. You didn't.
So what do you make of this, Frank?
This, a pack of werewolves sounds pretty dangerous, guys. We may need to arm up, or at least some of us.
Yeah, I've got to get some silver stuff from the moon copter.
Yeah.
Blade just grins as he pulls his blade out slightly, and you see the silver sheen, and he slams it home again. He's like, I'm good.
I know a guy.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So if these guys are not, this is, if we're winding down, this is maybe when the sirens start being heard and you guys can, what do you guys plan on doing next?
Well, Blade doesn't like ghouls sticking around, so maybe fade to black as you hear a slink sound as he takes care of them. But if there's any non-ghouls there that aren't marked, he won't do that to them.
Okay. So he's full up murdering these guys?
Blade has no mercy for the vampires.
Okay.
Or their goonies.
Okay. That would entail murdering all of them. They all have the mark.
Well, I suppose we'll fade to black and the cops will find a scene of mass murder.
Okay. I guess Punisher isn't going to, sneeze against that. How does Moon Knight feel about that?
I mean, Mark gets where he's coming from. I'm not, I'm not the vampire hunter, but I'm not stupid about vampires either.
Yeah.
And those guys have basically sold their soul.
And vampires are fairly wealthy, and we'll get them out of prison fairly quickly. And they've done some bad stuff already. So
yeah, and Blade
feels. Yeah, Blade has no trust.
Okay.
It's about vengeance. So yeah.
So where?
It's definitely vengeance.
Where are you guys? It could be Punisher's hideout. Blade's wherever he's resting or gearing up in the city, or Moon Knight's sanctum. Where do you guys think we're having our planning session?
I don't think Blade has a hole in maybe a safe house or something he just drives his motorcycle to, but the Punisher is based in New York, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and he's got a guy, Microchip, who he gets, supplies from, so he probably is gone because he needs silver weapons.
Okay.
Definitely silver bullets for sure.
I think we can assume that. So what we could do is we could use this. There could be some skill checks to try and secure this stuff. But I think that with Blade, if you guys are talking about stuff, we could maybe cut to. I think we've got an answer now where you're going. Blade's hideout, and then he opens up the locker, and you can see all these weapons that are specifically keyed towards fighting that. So assume that anything you've got on you, your crescent darts, your whatever, that it's going to be silver now.
Cool.
And you see like an entire row of shotgun shells with like, silver infused bullets. Yeah. And he's even got like a bandolier for his machine gun.
Okay. So for one, often. What we'll see is for one scene, or at least one scene, you guys will be equipped with more than enough silver to go along to take on these things. So as you're in Blade's thing and you guys are gearing up, what's the plan for next steps here?
Yeah. Well, they're probably going to have figured out that they're missing their men already. So they're going to be expecting us.
You mentioned Micro. So one of the ways that Micro, I think would probably be an extra, not a wild card in this, because it'll be a contact of yours. But what you can do is give us a D10 roll exploding for him. This will be his hacking roll. Let's see what kind of information he can gather for you.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what I'm gonna allow. There's a neat optional roll from the setting rules. If you want to spend a Benny and re-roll that, you can. The consequence of the crit fail is going to happen, but if you still want to get the information,
yeah, let's do that. Oh,
okay.
No.
All right. So here's what you do know from it is that there is there's just how would I put it? Like a total wall of shell companies around this thing. So learning who actually owns this rescue it's probably set up as a charity, but it's associated with some kind of corporation and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like shell company, and he's lost track of it. So that in and of itself probably tells you something about this no-kill rescue.
Right.
It's either the most convoluted, inadvertent way of structuring a charity, or it's intentionally obscured to hide whoever it is that actually owns this place.
Yeah, they're certainly hiding something there. I mean, we knew that.
You're also able to assume you can find the location. What are you guys planning? What are you guys talking about, I suppose?
So, we kind of got a couple options. I was thinking.
Is it not like we can just walk in there and adopt a puppy?
See, I was thinking maybe Stephen Grant could maybe go there in the daytime.
Yeah.
And maybe look at adopting. But, I mean, if you guys want to investigate tonight and go check it out, before, more time passes, I get that too.
You guys think?
I mean, if you think there's more information to be gained that would be helpful, I'm all for waiting, but I think they know we're coming. You saw what Blade did to his goons.
Yeah.
Blade just gives a half smirk. It's not half what I'm going to do to him.
Okay. Would you each... so anything else you think you talk about, or is that the plan for...
Well, I don't know. What do you think? Infiltrate or hit them hard?
Well, these things are going to be able to smell us coming if they really have werewolves. I mean, vampires, we've got really good sense of smell, but werewolves are an entirely different level.
Maybe so you think they'll be able to smell Moon Knight anyway?
Well, I think the idea of him going to adopt a puppy is a good idea, because he can get the layout from the inside, or as much as he can, and then we'll know where to hit quickly. But It's too much unknown. We don't know where this Eric guy is. It's what, the first or second day of the full moon?
This is the third day after.
Okay.
Does that mean their powers are diminished for the next little bit?
I was wondering, can werewolves in the setting like turn any time, or is it just uncontrollable during the 3 days of the moon?
It can vary.
Okay.
Yeah, from your roll, I'm rolling forward your roll from before on a cult. Yeah, it depends on the type of werewolf, and there's such a wide variety of things. If it's an infected, it's probably key to the moon,
okay.
Which particularly early on in the infection. It's like vampires. Like vampires can be kind of wild when they first get turned, but can learn to control themselves over time.
So, well, and the incidences have been happening on the full moons, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The people have been disappearing on the full moon.
Wondering if they're stronger closer to the full moon, and then maybe weaker on the opposite. But I'd still expect them to be really strong. I'm for like kicking in the door and cutting down any werewolf we see, and vampire.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually what I go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, guys?
Could we see if there's like an underground entrance, maybe a sewer or something that get us inside? Because I know vampires like to have a way to get out of there real quick.
Okay. Oh, into the yeah. How are you thinking
into
you
the facility?
Do we want to split the party?
I mean, during the daytime, it should be fairly innocuous.
Okay.
But maybe, survival. Maybe I can track a back way in.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you give us a common knowledge check?
Can do.
See if that if you can track down some plans here. Yeah.
Anything New York has underground dungeon yeah.
Curiously, there is like, sewer access, obviously, to a certain degree on any kind of building in New York. This one has it seems to have been built either intentionally or otherwise to specifically facilitate access to below. Yeah, and it seems like it's an old building. That's not quite good enough to get any further information just yet about it, but it definitely seems to be an older building that has a what do you call it? An older building that has access that wasn't built recently to facilitate it. It's something that is a historical part of the structure. Would you each give us a notice check, please? And everyone gets a Benny too. Last half hour of the session.
The supernatural thing kick in for Blade?
Yes. Your what do you call it? Your heightened senses. Holy smokes, Blade! Okay, so all of you, what you hear, Punisher first hears kind of a howl from somewhere a little farther off. Moon Knight, you can hear there's something outside the door. And Blade, there's 6 of them. I apologize for the kind of shoddy map here, guys. Let me quickly change the color of the square because it's pretty much identical to what you guys
do. One of the Blade quips. He just going reaching for a sword. He picked the wrong fucking place to attack from.
Okay, and then this is, remember that nat 1 that microchip rolled? Turns out,
traced him back.
Yeah. Where are? Oh, what the heck happened here?
I don't trust computers.
Oh, I thought I placed a bunch of tokens, and then they're gone now. So I don't know.
That's because we already took care of them, Kevin. We just defeated them. Don't you remember?
You know how many traps I have set up in here?
Let me do this here. I can quickly reset them. I don't know what happened there. That was really weird. I switched pages, so maybe that did something, but...
yeah, they may have tracked us, but Punisher's traps.
Okay, here we go.
That was an amazing notice roll. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's great.
It's off the chain.
we go. And
He tripped every vampire since Blade has.
yeah. So I'll let you figure out, picture for yourself what you're in. You've got, Punisher's van is in here. There is gear and whatnot that would be around for like a kind of a mechanic shop and slash, armory. And this is what comes smashing in through the windows. Each square is 1 yard. Your pace is listed in yards. So that's your pace is listed in 2 yards, I believe. Actually, yeah, I think it's 2 yards per thing. But basically, count each pace as 1 square. So I think each square might be 2 yards technically.
Okay.
In which case, let me, for those of you who have ranged weapons, let me just fix that. Boom. Measuring tools should work now. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. All right. So whatever's listed for your range, whatever's listed for your pace, it's 1 square each. Okay, let's see who's acting when. Am I on the right page here? I am. All right, so Blade. 5. You loving those 5s. Punisher, 3 and a ace. We'll redraw that 3 for you. Joker! Everyone gets a Benny.
Yes.
Punisher, you get +2 to all your actions this round and +2 damage. Moon Knight, Queen, and Werewolves have a 2. Oh, man. I'm going to spend a Benny because I'm going to blow through them. Let's see here. Get a King. There we go. All right. Anyone spending Bennies to get new cards?
I was if they hadn't got a King.
It's kind of hard to beat.
There's one more Joker in that deck.
Screw it. Give me a new card.
Nice. Atta boy. There you go.
Oh, hearts go before clubs, but
no, spades. That's a spade.
Oh, that's a spade. You're right. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
You're up first now. All right.
Actually,
so
the Punisher.
Assume because of your rolls, guys, everyone made a success. You heard these things outside. They unfortunately telegraphed themselves with that howl. So no one's surprised. Everyone can act this round. And Punisher, you get a choice of when you act. When would you like to go?
What's the range on the shotgun that I have?
It should be listed
24
on
and
there.
48.
Oh, okay. So I can shoot one. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He's gonna pull out his shotgun, so multi-action penalty.
No. Assume you had a split second because of your successful
notices.
notices.
Yeah, a split second to get your gun out.
Yeah,
okay.
whatever you choose to get ready, you're gonna have, and you'll get +2 to hit, +2 to damage on this round.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire at this one here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Pump action shotgun.
Can you double tap the pump action because it's got the?
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Oh, hell yeah. If you know what you're doing.
Okay, so here we go.
That was going to be my idea, but I was like, I got swords. I'm going to use my swords.
So first shot.
So +2 on that, right?
Yeah, is an 11.
So that's 11. Are you taking a multi-action? Is that?
Yeah. Oh, no, you said I didn't have to get the weapon out, but I'm using my double tap. So the second one has a penalty of -2.
Oh, so the double tap doesn't. You can just take a multi-action penalty to try and do 2 attacks. Double tap allows you to add +1 to hit with a single shot.
Oh, it like fires it twice. I got it.
Exactly. So you could do that too. I mean, the double action, what it allows you to do is do 3d6 damage against 2 of these things. What do you think?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Why don't I do that?
Okay. Grab stats here. All right. So then that is because with the +2 you get from, what do you call it? From your Joker. That'll just be regular attack with each of them. So then go ahead and roll damage and add +2 to damage.
Okay. Oh.
All right. So 1 shot and this just drops it. Make your second attack, please.
So this one's at a flat roll then.
It's not progressive like in other games. It's a flat roll. Sorry, Jeff, I wasn't sure if you were asking if it was -2 for each subsequent one, or that's also a hit. Go ahead and roll damage. 16. That is a hit with, let's see here. Well, that was a hit with a raise, so that'll be 21 damage. 2, 3. It's 2 wounds on it. I'm going to try and soak. because otherwise it goes down altogether. Let's see here. Soak is vigor. Okay. These are still success with a raise. Having seen the first shot go off, you turn to the second one, it soaks the 2 hits, so it cuts it on the outs, like just on the edge, but it doesn't even shake it. It's still charging in at you. Then it is Blade. What are you doing?
He's, he was already drawing his swords out as he bursts through the windows, and he just gets this grin on his face, and he checks left and right. I think Moon Knight's got 2 werewolves. Punisher can probably handle 1. He's going to dart down and get the attention of these 2.
Okay.
And then I will do my, I've got that, what is it, ambidextrous and combat reflexes?
Not combat reflexes, it's the 2-fisted. Yeah, that's the one you want. So that's 2 full attacks. So go ahead and make your first attack.
Yes. So eat some sword, you vampire.
Okay.
You werewolf.
Parry on this thing is a 7. So that's a hit with a raise. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. Boom.
Now Benny that?
I do.
Go ahead.
Screw you, werewolf.
Yeah. 20. All right, so then that is 11. 2. That's 2 wounds. I'll spend another Benny and try and soak. Let's see here. Nope. So that is enough to take one of them down.
Okay. And I can't move after I attack. I got to be right next to him, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Savage Worlds.
I'll
It
just
all goes.
step right next to him after I drive that thing to it hard to rip it out and try to gut the other one with.
Go right ahead.
Oh, Benny.
Go ahead.
Gonna dump all the bennies into this.
Heck yeah. A hit with a raise. Go ahead and roll damage.
Come on.
So 16. 16 is a hit with 1 wound. I will try and soak that. I gotta use these bennies up for the end of the round. I successfully soak it. So same thing too. This one seems to be able to kind of deke and duck out of the way of that attack. Then it is the werewolf's turn. All right, so we got 1 charging in on Frank. Yeah, this thing comes charging. It is like your height plus a half above you. What is your parry, Frank? Can I call you Frank? Sorry.
Yeah, parry is 10. Excuse me, parry is 10.
Awesome. Okay, so then I'm going to be able to frenzy, so I got 2 D10s on this. There we go. All right, so I need a 10 to hit you. Nope. So it comes in. It's snarling. You're ducking to one side. You're battering its arm aside. It's just not able to connect with you. Blade, same thing on you. What's your parry?
Looks to be a 10.
10. Okay.
Yes.
Then you. Oh, and then because you got 2 weapons, this is just a sub rule. You would be getting +1 to hit because this thing is not armed with a what do you call it? Not armed with a weapon.
Okay.
It's one of the benefits of dual weapons. And I saw also, sorry, Ren 3, I appreciate you trying to help here. There's so many rules in Savage Worlds, we're never going to keep track of all of them. So it's not helpful to just be spamming what we're getting wrong or whatnot. It's just, there's just too much to keep track of, especially for folks who are playing for the first time. So here we go.
Still rule light compared to other systems, but
it's rule light, yeah. And the thing is that like, if there's any system where it really doesn't matter if you're keeping track of everything, it's fucking Savage Worlds. Really, it is a very forgiving system in that sense. So I appreciate your trying to be helpful here, but there's way too many rules to keep track of. We're not going to be bothering to double check what we got wrong. I didn't get a hit on you. Should I use one of my bennies or save them for soaks?
Bring it.
Try
to hit me.
All right.
Try to hit me.
We'll re-roll that. Here we go. Frenzy. I got a 10. I got a 20. I got hit with a raise.
Nice.
Oh, one of those gets their claws into you. So this will be, what's your toughness?
Toughness is a 10 and then a 2 to size, so I think that's
the 2 is your armor. So if this thing has armor piercing, I can get through 2 points of armor. Also, though, both Blade and Punisher, you get to reduce bullet damage by 4 as well because of your flak vests. All right, so it's 2. Boy, these are nasty claws.
Somebody's got to take a wound. Give it to me.
Heck, well, and that's what soaking's for, right? You got all those bennies. Here we go. All right, so I got AP. Okay, so it's going to cut through your armor. So I'm rolling against an 8 right now. I didn't roll well, though. That's 8 and 11. I got a +1. I got a hit and 1 wound. Do you want to soak that?
Okay. I will attempt to, yes.
Yep, go ahead.
Because you gave me a D that lets me add 2 to my soak. So
yes, combat reflexes is awesome. Look at that. All right, so it manages to catch you and rake along, but what do we see from Blade?
So he hits along, and you see Blade. He's blocking the claw, but it still gets him. But he spins around and like slides back 5 feet and just snarls at him.
Nice. Yeah. So he's torn up your coat a little bit, but no lasting effect. Then these last 2 charge in on Moon Knight. The first one, let's see here. Moon Knight, your parry is a 10.
My parry is a 10.
Okay. Now, did you cinch your cloak up, knowing that these things would be coming in?
I would think so, knowing that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely is going to have his
So parry's a
cloak.
12 then is what I'm rolling against.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a potential hit. I got a hit, not a raise. So let's see here. Damage. What's your toughness?
11 parentheses 2.
Okay, so it's a 9 I'm rolling against. Werewolf claws are easy to get through. All right, so I rolled a 15. And I said I was rolling. It's a 9. That's a hit with 1 wound. So you're it is a shaken with 1 raise. Do you want to try and soak that?
Yes.
Okay, spin a Benny and give us a vigor check, please.
Got all those bennies.
Oh, no.
There's a soak roll, right?
Oh, yeah, there's a soak roll. Yeah, you can just roll your soak roll.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the soak, and I was like, okay, that rolls, right?
Does Moon Knight have combat reflexes?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so add +2 to the result. I think I forgot to add that to your sheet, but you got a modifier +2 on this.
I tucked mine into it since I knew how to manage it.
Nice. Awesome. So that is a hit with a raise. So you're hit but not injured. What does it look like, Moon Knight?
He's got that cloak swirling around him, and he sees them moving in, and he knows he's by himself. So he's kind of just engaging in a lot of misdirection, almost like a Toreador.
Yeah. So they're able to get through, and the claws, they're tearing a bit of your cloak up, but not connecting. Then the second one moves in. He's going to get a gang up bonus, so get +1 to hit you. But that's not good enough. They get in, you're still able to dodge and keep out of the way. Moon Knight, your turn. What are you doing?
All right, so I'm going to multi-attack.
Nice.
So we've got a +2 because we had that Joker, right?
That only applies to the person who drew the Joker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that applied to all of us. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Never mind then. But I'll still do it because with Frenzy, it's only, was it a -2 on one of them?
-2 on all. So it'd be -2 on all your actions this round. But you would be able to roll.
Can he wild attack and frenzy at the same time?
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. That's an excellent point. Wild attack gives +2 to hit and makes you vulnerable. So they get +2 to hit you next round.
Yeah, +2 fighting, +2 damage, but vulnerable to the end of the
So that would offset. Basically, what you would roll is two attacks for your frenzy and then 1 attack separately for your second one.
Okay.
That sounds good?
Yeah, let's do that.
Heck yeah. So go ahead and
good.
give us your roll your is your baton, I'm assuming you're using?
Yeah.
Roll that attack twice, and we'll check the skill dice from the second one.
Yeah, the wild attack frenzy is a favorite of Logan's.
Can I go ahead and spend a Benny to re-roll that right now?
Let's see what your next roll is. Because you might explode, right? And then you could decide whether you want to keep. No, so yeah, you definitely want to spend a Benny.
Yeah.
So go ahead and re-roll those twice. So that's better. That's a hit with that first skill dice and the second skill dice. Come on.
That's a hit.
So it'll be 1 hit so far with that one. You want to roll damage?
Yeah, let's roll damage.
Okay.
I guess +2 to damage.
Holy smokes. All right, so that'll be... no, I think Wild Strike is only +2 to attack, not damage.
Oh, I thought it said...
Does it say...
No, it's on... Okay, on the sheet. I don't know about the book.
Yeah.
But on the sheet with the swords with the combat, it says +2 fighting, +2 damage, but vulnerable until the end of the attack.
Then it's +2 damage.
Okay.
I'm remembering wrong. So great. So that'll be another plus 29.
And we got him a silver baton, right? With this.
Yep. Yeah, we silvered up the baton.
Okay, so that's 29. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds, which is the cap. We're playing with optional rules to cap wounds at 4. I am not going to bother trying to soak that because I don't think I'm going to roll that well. What does it look like as you take this first one down?
So, it's he kind of learned a little bit from before, but he knows that silver is the key.
Yeah.
And so, they're bigger than him. So Moon Knight kind of leaps up and just brings this right down on the bridge of that snout. Just crack. And you just hear everything shatter.
And it drops down. All right. Then your second attack. Go ahead and give us a baton.
Right. Come on.
Benny that?
You got
Yeah, I've got the bennies.
Yeah.
I'm burning them, baby.
And I think both Moon Knight and Blade still have conviction as well.
That's what I was.
Holy smokes.
Whoa.
Yep, so that's a hit with a raise. Go ahead and roll damage.
Bam.
All right, so 22 with that's 25. That's 3 wounds. They only have 2. There's certain abilities that extras can have to give themselves extra wounds, and there's also like size can also factor into how many wounds the extras have. But that I'm going to spend a Benny to try and soak this. I don't have a very good chance of it, but let's see.
So the moon is the source of their strength, but the moonlight is their demise.
That's a 2. I failed my soak. What's it look like as you take the second one down?
So, okay, so he hit that one, so he lands on the ground, and he kind of pushes up again and swings it upwards. And this one catches that one kind of up under the neck and the jaw, and that head just snaps back, and you hear the spine.
All right, let's race through our final round. I'm assuming final because you guys will take everyone down here. So, Blade, you have a... Oh, hold up. I didn't shuffle the deck.
Cool.
Let's see here.
I'd like another 5.
Yeah, exactly. Only a 5 again. Come on. No, a queen. Okay. Very nice. And Punisher, a Joker, or Jack, and an ace. It's pretty good. Let's get those out of the way for you. And then Moon Knight, a 2. Let's see what the werewolves get. Werewolves got a queen. Moon Knight, you want to spend a Benny and get the...
Yeah, let's do it. I've got beanies to buy.
King. Can't take him with you. 10. A little better, but not... anyone spending any bennies to try and go? No?
I'm out of bennies.
Okay, so you're out of bennies?
Yes.
That is not great. All right, so that means first up will be Punisher.
Okay, he's got this werewolf in his face, and he's got this pump action shotgun in its face.
What do you want to do?
About to make your inside your
single
outside.
Shot or
so the double tap is the one that does more damage, right?
Now I think you suffer a penalty for using I think it's -2 for using shotguns or like long arms in melee. We're at the end of the session. Let's just say that's the case. So here's what you could do. You could do that double tap and just have a -1 on your attack.
Yeah, I think he would. He's used to close combat.
Isn't there an option like at the very bottom where you can do like 3, but you spend like all your bullets?
I don't know. You can also wild attack.
It's a 3-round burst. Never mind.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
So
-1 to hit.
-1 to hit.
You got this.
-1. Come on.
You got the bennies to do it.
Yeah, I got lots of bennies.
Yeah. Hit with a raise. Go ahead and roll damage.
So this is +1 to damage?
Yes, from the double tap.
Yes.
Holy smokes. 25 again. I'm out of Benny, so I can't soak that. So what's it look like as you take down the werewolf?
Yeah, I think he just puts it right against this thing's under its jaw and pulls the trigger on the silver shot.
Yep. All right, then it is the werewolves, because hearts come before diamonds. All right, this thing is going to now wild attack. That sounds like a good idea, Blade. So I need a...
You see Blade with just this grin on his face, like he's in it to win it.
To get you. I got 1 hit. No raise. And let's roll damage here.
Got no bennies, so what do you got?
Whatever it hits. I rolled terrible. It's an 11 in total. So
that's one higher than
12,
my toughness.
12 in total. So that your toughness is
10.
10, but it's 8 because of the armor piercing. So that is a hit with a raise. You suffer 1 wound.
Alrighty.
Okay. Cool. Then it is Blade's turn. What are you doing?
Attempting to unshake.
Okay. Oh, yeah, right. You're shaken. Right. Gives a spirit check or just an unshake check. Yes. Okay. What are you doing?
So he shakes that off. He's got the wound going and he's bleeding. And then he just grins up at it with like some blood coming from his mouth and just slices into it with his swords.
Go ahead and make your attacks.
I got a +1 because of the 2 weapon things you said.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So +1 should offset the -1 from wounds. That is a hit, not a raise.
That's okay.
That would have been a raise without the wounds. Damn wounds. That is 9. That's actually not enough. Okay. Do you want to? You got no bennies. You got no bennies.
I could spend a conviction to like bump my attack up to a raise, right?
You could have if you did that before you rolled damage. I totally agree.
I'll try a second attack then.
Okay, go ahead. That is a hit with a raise.
Okay, and we'll go for damage then.
Come on, big money. Let's see them green. Oh no, it's only shaken.
Can I spend conviction on damage?
You cannot.
Darn.
Okay, but it may have opened things up for Moon Knight. Moon Knight, what are you doing?
I don't think I can get down there.
Remember, if you run, you roll a 1, click on the run dice, it'll tell you what extra movement you can get.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
You don't have any ranged weapons?
12 inches! Exactly what you needed. So go ahead. You go racing up. You're going to have -2 to hit, but can you take down this?
Yeah.
Totally can. I shook it. So.
You know what? Only -1 because you can get the gang up bonus with Blade.
Yep. So he rushes in here. It's like, let me take care of your light work.
Here we go.
You said -1, right, Kevin?
-1 to the attack, yeah. Gotcha. And then remember, roll a second time with a -1 as well, just to get the frenzy in. So that is not a hit yet, but let's check your skill dice first.
He's got the bennies, though.
Yeah, he's got a ton of bennies, so...
Yeah. Well, I did have a ton. I still have a couple.
You can get him.
Okay, so so that would be a hit, not a raise. You could Benny and re-roll all of those, or you could take it as is.
I think I'm going to take...
Oh, wait, do you have you got your conviction still?
Oh, yeah?
Don't you?
D6.
Okay.
So, yeah, you haven't used yours. So you can roll 1d6 exclamation mark and then add it to the result to maybe fish for a raise.
Do it.
He's out of
bennies. So just roll 1d6 bang.
1d6 exclamation mark. Yep.
I told y'all about that, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
Exclamation mark.
Oh no.
We called it a bang when we were doing some programming stuff.
Oh. Okay, so that is that's not going to bump it up to a raise, but roll damage. Let's see. Maybe you're gonna let's see. The Fist of Khonshu can take this thing down.
Does damage get a -1?
No. Just the hit. Holy shit! So what's it look like? As this thing hacks into Blade, Blade tries to keep it off off of him. He's got it distracted, and then Moonlight comes in. What do we see as he takes this last one down?
He's just this flash of white. This silver white streak just comes in out of nowhere. And, again, just wailing with that baton.
Yeah.
Right up against the side of the head. And just that eye kind of crumples.
And this thing hits the ground. All right, so everyone who does not have conviction now has conviction again. And everyone who has conviction gets a Benny. But... as we're turning to our final page of our comic, what we would see is as Punisher is racking new rounds in.
Could I immediately sorry?
What do you want to say? Go ahead.
I was wondering, could I immediately spend the Benny to supercharge my healing, get rid of that wound?
Yeah, you have to make a focus roll to get rid of it.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
Because
I can't take
no, it's still there. Damn.
Oh, shit. All right. But what we see is as you're racking your things down, Moon Knight, you look over, and Punisher seems to have stopped reloading because his eyes are fixed. As with that woman you fought in her home, each one of these things has transformed back to a human being again. And Punisher, that first one you took down is Benjamin Gladstone.
Yeah.
So, with that, guys, we bring our one issue that we will spend the rest of our childhood trying to find the next issue of for Moon Knight with some guest stars. Will, first time playing Savage Worlds Supers, what are your takeaways?
It moves quickly, which is good.
Yeah.
There's still moving pieces that I'm having to grasp with, which is fine.
Yeah.
And figuring out tactics, but I feel like I'm learning those tactics. I feel like I'm picking up on that.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I kind of like the way some of the stuff was kind of like skill tests in, or I forget what they call it in Pathfinder 2, but that concept of a skill test where you try to get so many successes doing stuff. I like that aspect. I felt the bennies were good. I felt like I never felt like I was spending too many or spending too little.
Nice. That's good.
So yeah, I liked it. I had a blast.
Did it feel like playing Moon Knight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch Moon Knight again now.
Nice. Jeffrey, did that feel like Punisher?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I had a blast.
Nice. John, I see you grinning and nodding. I take it that Blade met your approval?
Oh yes, I mean, the Blade is one of my favorite Marvel characters too. It's just lesser known than like Logan, but yeah, I had a blast, and playing with these two is great too.
Yeah, and that's a big part of I think Savage Worlds is the party is, and the players are a big part of it, right? Like if you're approaching it from the spirit of that, it is kind of a loose set of rules, and the dice are very swingy. If you embrace that and let the story kind of come together as you see what the results are, it can be a shit ton of fun. Like I didn't some of your early decisions completely changed how sort of what I had in mind for the session, which was perfect. And the dice results were also affected the way that I was going to play through. And that's something I think is really a real strength of the Savage Worlds system, is that if you don't focus too much on what your intended outcome, it's like a lesson you should draw from any kind of game you're running. There's not an intended outcome for things. Embrace whatever's happening at the table. This game, more than any other, I think really requires that mindset, but also rewards that mindset with like, you can see where the players can see the parallels in the same way that like Genesis or the Star Wars games from Fantasy Flight enable and justify DM bullshittery. This game in the same way kind of does that. When you see that one come up, you're like, well, fuck, something's going to happen here that's going to make life more interesting for me, but it feels,
I've
good.
embraced the critical failures. They're just great. I just love them.
Oh yeah, like really, and like the critical fails and the critical successes, it's something that I don't know, like the drawing, the initiative things of seeing those the Jokers come up is such. It is a much more positive experience than any other initiative system in any other game I've seen.
Mm-hmm. And I would just like to say, holy shit, well, Moon Knight was kicking ass.
Moon Knight kicks ass. You were talking about like ranged. I was like, I mean, he could do ranged, but his numbers, his dice is all about fisticuffs and using the baton. The baton's actually better than fisticuffs. So,
wait a minute. All your thrown weapons, by the way, don't use shooting. They use athletics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, I should have mentioned that before.
No, that's okay. I didn't think to ask, and I wasn't too concerned with it at that point.
Nice. Yeah.
I just felt that was more thematically appropriate. I like, that's something else that I did like when we knocked out the werewolf, and I was like, okay, Moon Knight wants to go to the window, do his grappling and do this kind of swing and kind of intimidate or whatever. I felt that was, on your end, totally supported by the rules.
100%.
There was no make a roll to see if you do it. Oh, you didn't make it, you fall off the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I felt that was very appropriate, and that kind of, I got a little bit more free feeling from that, I guess. From there, I was like, okay, well, yeah, let's see what else I can do, and let me push this and see what Kevin will let me do or not, and I like that. That's fun.
It's a tribute to the system that, because of the test system in particular, it allowed, because you can use your, like, any skill that makes sense in the setting, you can use that skill to try and impose distracted, vulnerable, or shake them on a raise. So it really, like, if you want to like knock people's legs out or whatever, like whatever approach you try and do, there's rules for that to easily figure out how they're going to resist and what the outcome would be. And then your the rabble rouser edge is just awesome for the kind of Moon Knight or Punisher or Batman or whatever intimidating a crowd of people.
Are all those in the Supers companion book?
No, they're in the basic stuff.
Okay, well, I've got a basic book floating around over here somewhere that I think you sent me. So I'm going to read
that was from the other. Yeah, like the neat thing is the way that advancement works in the game too. The points you use to build your superpowers is completely separate from the advancement of the character. So when you advance your character, you'll be able to like raise a skill or 2 skills depending on what level they're at, or an attribute once per tier, or get a new edge. Or buy off a hindrance or whatnot. So like the mechanics are there for you to be able to continually advance a character like you want to do in a role-playing game without it being reduced to now my blasts do more damage.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, on a certain level, you know, because I've thought about it, and I'm very steeped in the Marvel face rip.
Yep.
And you know, the increments, because you know you go from like I think it's like from 29 to 48 or something, you know, and moving up each one of those increments, you're still in the same basic group. You're still in the remarkable or incredible or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so having something like that, you know, like you're talking about, you know, for advancement, feels a little bit more rewarding to some extent.
Definitely. Because I think it reflects that it's a role-playing game you're playing, and that there are definitely, like, as you can see, like a lot the edges. I don't think there's any edges that you guys have, and in fact, in the game, there's no edges that are linked to superpowers. You can purchase edges with superpower points, but you don't need to. They're not linked to that. So they are linked to tiers in some cases. So you do need to be a certain like level of advancement to get them. But I feel like that part of the game reflects the Spider-Man route of like, he starts off, his powers don't change in the first, 100 issues of the comic, but he gets more experience and he gets more capable. And that's largely driven through the regular advancement you get in Savage Worlds, as opposed to, getting more power points and buying more stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Now, one thing that I saw was pretty cool is like if you're playing with the superpowers, the regular book still has access to magic if you want to delve into that too. So you can get superpowers and a touch of magic on the side as growing your character, while actually increasing your superhero rank. And
thematically too, like if your character's powers change over time for whatever reason in fiction, you can just respend your power points. Or if the character did get more powerful and jumped up the tiers, you could do that, but it's not inherently built into the advancement of the character, which is something that, like, Hero, that is the case. DC Adventures, that is the case. There's no separation between the character's superpowers and the character itself. So it's just something I particularly like about this. Well, we're well over time right now. I am so glad to hear that you guys enjoyed it. That's great. I love this pairing of superheroes and Savage World, so that was great.
And the story? The setting?
Oh, yeah, the story was totally fun.
Somebody said in YouTube, was like, this is like a great group. What was this saying? Epic team of heroes.
Nice.
Like, anti-heroes maybe with Blade, but
And did you guys really think it would be, it's taking me this long to get a werewolf by way of dog rescue organization story?
That was so good.
Awesome. Totally. Well, then, listen, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. And Ren3, thank you again. I do appreciate you trying to help out with the rules mechanics. It's just, especially for a one-shot for people learning the first time, there's no faster way to kill their enthusiasm or kill their appreciation for the game than continually trying to correct them on the rules. I'm not saying you did that, but that's the reason I'm not too fussed about what, I'm not too fussed about being, correct in the rules. So I do hope you still enjoyed it in light of our, or in spite of our rules errors. But for everyone else, if there is any comments, questions, or concerns you have regarding the session, the game, or the pairing of Savage Supers, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and I have a channel there dedicated for Savage Worlds, as well as every other game we run on the channel. And if you're interested in seeing the stats for these characters. I have posted all 3 of them on there, as well as I'm doing this year to every day to date. I've been doing a conversion of another character from we've done a month of Golden Age Marvel characters, a month of Golden Age DC. I'm currently in the middle of Mutant March Madness, and then next month is going to be turning to the DC Comics again and doing the Teen Titans. So if you're interested in seeing some of my takes on these heroes, you're welcome to go over there. I post the rules, and then at the end of each month I do a consolidation, so you can grab all of them in one PDF if you want. Doesn't cost you anything or anything like that. And if you want to change them or you disagree with them, that's fine. Just it gives you a working point to go from. And if you just want to pick up and play, they're there for you as well. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new and role-playing games, board games, and card games, they also have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, enter the code THEMUSE, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. You can also you make use of their want list feature. So if they have something listed but they don't have it in stock, you can often put it on your want list, and they will send you an email when it comes in, and then you can pick it up. Prices are commensurate with kind of what demand is, and more. I have found lately I've been able to fill some holes in collections for less than cover price on some books, so it's really great. There's also a link down below to some links to support a creator in the community. Owen Casey Stevens is a well-known and prolific creator. Next weekend we'll be playing a fundraising game for him. He's had some unfortunate turns of luck as far as his health is concerned in the last year, and most recently has been diagnosed with cancer. If you want to support him, Hero Initiative is the thing I was thinking of. I've mentioned on previous channels, previous streams. Comics figured out that creators are often, especially when they get older, are not able to support themselves because of the way that the earnings are made in the industry, and the long-term earnings in the industry are concerned, and extended health benefits are concerned. So they have this charity called Hero Initiative that helps to support people who are in the comics community, but unfortunately gaming does not have something similar yet. So Owen's going to be going through cancer treatment, and both the cost of treatment, because he's an American, and the cost of going through treatment is going to be a burden on him. So if you want to support him, there's a link down below to his Ko-fi account, to his Patreon account, and you can find many amazing products made by him under the Rogue Genius name on DriveThruRPG. Any of those things would support him, and then we're going to be playing a session specifically to try and help raise some money for him next week. We'll have more information about that as the weekend kind of goes along. And there's also a link down below to the charity initiative we run on the channel regularly, which is the Heroes Save Villages campaign. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity. Really amazing organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children, including ongoing relief efforts in Ukraine and the surrounding countries. All donations that go through that link go directly to benefit SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids. And I've talked about this at length on previous streams, so I maybe won't go through it again because I've already had the players say 20 minutes over time. $10 or more donated through there gives you a chance to vote on the next charity session we're playing in support of that as part of our year-long Year of Ill Omens campaign. We've had 2 sessions that have been linked so far. You can learn about that on the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server. And again, the link is in the description of the video. And if you donate $25 or more, not only did you get a chance to vote, for every $25 you get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. So lots of ways to try and say thank you to the people who donate through that link. All the money that goes through that link goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. Last thing I'll say very quickly is a huge thank you to our stalwart Midnight Suns. So John, Jeffrey, and Will, thank you so much for playing today, guys. I had so much fun prepping these characters, and I'm so glad that you appreciate it. There's nothing I enjoy more than sharing the games that I really love with other players, and when it lands, it's just fantastic. So thanks, guys. This is fucking great session. Really enjoyed this. So, Ben. for those listening at home, we'll be back in with a GI Joe a regular campaign in 2 weeks' time. But I'm sure this is not the last time you'll see some Savage Supers here on the channel. If you want to see more of that, next Saturday we'll be continuing on our World War II epic with some set in the Marvel Universe using some an Acton Cthulhu old campaign. But we got something special planned for next weekend as well. Anyway, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that we gave you a couple of hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our midnight suns have been uncovering in the seedy and supernatural streets of New York City. Until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, make mind marvel, and happy gaming.